this year's NFL draft. And there are tons of teams with multiple first-round picks. We got a lot of fun going on between now and the time that the Raiders make their first overall choice, which will be Fernando Mendoza. And then lots of controversy surrounding number 2. Will it be Reese? Will it be Bailey? Better split down the middle. This is going to be a lot of fun tonight. Padres will get going in a little bit. We'll give you a quick recap of last night's game coming up on the other side. But before we get going anywhere, Sammy Long, are you ready to have a great freaking show?
Ready to have a great show.
Nice little 2 for 3 last night. Doesn't win us any money, but it feels good. That's called a moral victory in the world of betting. Hockey screwed us.
Yeah, I'm very disappointed with the Pittsburgh Penguins. It's the last time that we...
Was it a 5-2 game? It was one goal away from winning.
The Philadelphia Flyers just dominated them. I mean, I thought Sid the Kid and Malkin would be able to respond, but apparently not.
Apparently not. Well, it's going to be a great day here no matter what. Correct me if I'm wrong. We are going fully NFL draft tonight for long shots today.
Oh, of course.
Of course.
By the way, the NFL draft, one of the most liable times a year for sports books, because if you're paying attention to it, you can really find some value in this. The sports books get really nervous around the NFL draft because the public can eat well tonight.
Now, over the next 2 hours, we do need your help with something because Sammy has taken his Lord and Savior, Mel Kiper Jr. I have taken Daniel Jeremiah, Padres fan, loyal to the soil, Daniel Jeremiah, as our draft experts when we drafted our draft analysts. And so whoever's mock draft is better, the loser has to do something over the next couple of days. So help us out, 70470. Start your message with team. We need to know what that punishment should be. If it's within reason, we will consider it. How about that? I personally like the idea of Sammy having to sing, I'm a Barbie girl in a Barbie world, but I don't know if he's going to go for that. So we will see on that.
You always have stuff for me, but what is the punishment for you? You always weasel out of punishments somehow.
You know, I have had a history of paying up big time for punishments. I've been waxed live on the air here before, and that did not feel good. But I do have a punishment that needs to be repaid, and we're going to be talking to the man who I need to repay it to coming up at 12:30.
Yeah, you weaseled out of that too at Stan Leszynski.
It's not done yet, man. The NFL season's over. There's a new one beginning. I still have plenty of time to wear a Seahawks jersey, but I will not be buying said Seahawks jersey.
But I remember you saying you would buy a Seahawks jersey.
I never said that. Our fantasy football expert, though, Stan Leszynski, will be joining us coming up at 12:30 today to see how these rookies who will be drafted tonight are going to be impacting your fantasy football life, especially if you're a dynasty player or if you just want to learn more about the offensive rookies coming up in this year's draft. No one better to do it than Stan Leszynski. He's going to be jumping on at 12:30. Big Stan back in the fold. And then at 1:30, one of our favorites, Coach Kentera, is going to be jumping on to talk some pods, talk about the newest Padre, Lucas Giolito, talk about the sale of the team to Jose E. Feliciano. We got a lot to go over with Coach coming up at 1:30. But we are going to start with the NFL draft tonight. So if you've been paying attention to ESPN.com or NFL.com or all the different websites today, we always can usually forecast who the number 1 overall pick this year. This is the first time in a while that nobody has a super strong opinion on who the number 2 overall pick is going to be this year. In fact, bettors are pretty much split down the middle. A lot of people think there's going to be a trade for the number 3 overall pick. I don't remember a time in recent memory where there's been this much uncertainty surrounding the first 3 or 4 picks of this year's draft. And with that, I go to a man who's been reading more than just about anybody on this year's NFL draft. Sammy, how do you see the first few picks unfolding? Will there be a trade in the top 3 of this year's NFL draft?
I think the Jets are taking Bailey. So Mendoza's going 1 to the Raiders. I think Bailey's going to the Jets. From Texas Tech, they're the best front 7 in the entire country, along with Jacob Rodriguez at the linebacker spot. Bailey just has your vintage. He looks like, I know we always overrate draft comps. He looks like Von Miller. Like if you were to compare a player, he's got bend, he's fast, he can beat you off the edge. I think Bailey's the way to go.
He can what you off the edge?
He can bend you off the edge. But at the number 3 spot is where it gets interesting because there's been a lot of reports like, do the Cardinals go with Ty Simpson? Ty Simpson is the second best quarterback in this draft out of Alabama, but a lot of people think that's way too high at the number 3 spot. So a lot of teams have been calling. Apparently the Chiefs have been calling on the number 3 pick. The Cowboys have been calling. A lot of teams have been trying to get up, see if they get the pass rusher from Ohio State. And it would make a lot of sense for the Cardinals because you get to add some picks, move back in the draft, and then maybe get your quarterback. But you don't have the pressure of taking him at number 3, where if he sucks, then you're like sitting there going, what did we do? We wasted a top 3 pick in the NFL draft. But this top 10 is very interesting because it's going to be heavy defense. Like Caleb Downs, one of the best defenders, if not the best player in the draft, probably going around 9, 10, 11. And then like Sonny Styles, we were talking about before the show, one of the best tacklers in the draft at the linebacker spot from Ohio State, but people are kind of devaluing safety in the traditional linebacker spot. So Styles and Downs are dropping a little bit, even though they might be better players than a lot of these guys at the top.
What I find the most fascinating about this year's draft is the two best players, I think, across the board. When you look at people's rankings of the best players in this year's draft, it is Jeremiah Love and it's Sonny Styles. Pretty much across the board, those are the two. And neither of them are projected to be top 3 picks tonight, which is kind of wild to me. So you have a running back, which we all know that position is just so volatile in the NFL. And you've found great running backs. Like some of the best running backs today were 3rd and 4th round picks in the NFL draft. But Jeremiah Love certainly has the look to him that he is going to be a traditional, excellent running back in the NFL, and it has a bit of the can't miss prospect attached to him. Sonny Styles, I don't know if you've been watching any of the coverage. His comp right now is Fred Warner in the NFL. People are saying he is a wildly cerebral, excellent athlete, middle linebacker who could be the captain of the defense. And that's like a 7-8 year run where linebackers can be the top of the game. And so Sonny Styles, for me, looks like the steal of the draft, whoever ends up with him. But when you look at it, both those guys have fallen a little bit. And it's because of the volatility at the position. It's because you feel like you can find extra people elsewhere in the draft. If I'm a team sitting at the top of the draft, it's going to be hard for me to go past Sonny Styles and feel good about it.
It is. I think people overthink this. It's like, oh, you don't take a safety there. You don't take a running back there. You don't take a traditional linebacker. Well, if you're getting just a generational type player, then is that better than taking a risk on a guy at a quote premier spot, whether that's quarterback, receiver, edge rusher, where people traditionally go in the top 10?
Try to name the best 10 defensive players of your lifetime. I promise you 4 of them are linebackers. I promise you middle linebackers, 4 of them.
Right. And you look at teams that win, they have great linebackers. It does. And it's funny how we see like Texas Tech has a bunch of guys in their front 7, Bailey, Rodriguez, Romello Height. There's a bunch of guys going. Ohio State's the same way. It's like those old Georgia teams where, remember, Georgia had 7 or 9 first-round picks, and they were all on defense from a couple of years ago. Ohio State has a bunch of defenders. I mean, Downs and Reese and Styles, and like all these guys. They have a McDonald, the defensive tackle. There's so many guys going from them that it's almost a little hard to assess, because it's like, which of these guys benefited? Who is actually the best player on that defense, and what guys benefited from the fact that they were playing alongside great players? So when you get those teams that are stacked on one side of the ball, it's kind of tough to evaluate who's better than who.
Another question for the text line and for the talkback mic that will weave in throughout the day today is over under 1.5 first round trades today. 1.5 is the number. It feels like
over.
I think so too. But every draft we go into, we talk about how many trades there's going to be, and usually it falls a little flat and a little disappointing depending on who goes off the board when. So if you think there's going to be 2 or more, let us know. If you think there's going to be 1 or less, let us know. Text us 70470. Start your message with the word team. You can also leave us a talkback mic on the free iHeartRadio app. Open that bad boy up. Search San Diego Sports 760. Add us to your presets and tap that little red microphone icon. Your message will go straight to Sammy's computer. We can play it on the air. All right, it's time for the big 3. Coming up, we're going to get into this George Pickens thing. Could he actually be on the move between now and the first pick of tonight's draft? We'll talk about it in just a little bit, but Sammy, let's go ahead and smash.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? Coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. The Big 3.
Just really quick, are we not all pretty disappointed in what happened with the Padres last night?
That was pretty bad.
Come performance. On, offense, can something happen, please?
Well, it's just, you get to the concerns. It's like they're winning. What Danny Vietti said. Fair criticism.
The numbers don't line up. In fact, I saw some of the baseball nerds came together and put together the latest postseason analytics. The Padres are sitting at like a 38% chance to make the playoffs.
Yeah, Fangraphs had them at 46%. People were kind of like, what?
It's just based on the numbers. It's not necessarily your record. It's what you forecast out to be. And right now, the Padres are not forecasting well. And it's great that they're winning a bunch of games. And if you can continue to do that, awesome. But as of right now, the numbers don't line up with the wins. And that's what everyone's looking at. All right, Sammy, where we starting?
All right, so this is kind of a funny story. The NFL asked Peyton Manning to convince Fernando Mendoza to attend the draft tonight. He will not be attending the draft. He's going to be at home, I believe, in Miami with all of his family when he's going to be the number 1 overall pick. But the NFL was asking Peyton Manning to go convince Fernando Mendoza to attend the draft. Is this something or nothing?
It is something, but I'm 100% on team Fernando Mendoza here. Like, I think the part of it that we all forget about and is important is Fernando Mendoza's mom. It's not really easy for her to travel. She has MS. She's in a wheelchair. So I think as big of a reason as Fernando Mendoza staying at home is for maybe there's some extra advertising opportunities that he can have and cash in on some money. I think the biggest reason is because his mother has a hard time traveling. And I think this is a classy move to make her comfortable. I think it's the right decision for him. He also, I would imagine his agent is telling him, dude, you're going to look like a goofy ass giraffe because you are kind of a goofy ass giraffe when you do that long walk down the hallway. Like, can you imagine Fernando Mendoza walking down the hallway doing all the, let's freaking go, man. Like, it'd be bad.
I want them to record so badly the first conversation that him and Max Crosby have.
Like, have a little secret cam set up.
Oh, I just want to see that interaction.
What do you think it's going to be? Max Crosby seems like a great guy.
No, I think Max Crosby's a great guy.
You think he's going to make fun of him?
No. Mendoza is like the most like pure, just like puppy dog.
Sure.
And it's one thing to be that in Indiana. It's another thing to be that in Las Vegas.
Let's freaking go.
But in terms of this, people
so proud of my teammates.
People have made such a big deal about him not being there. First off, it doesn't matter. This is not like 20 years ago where everyone sat in the green room. And why guys don't go, even though Mendoza's not going to drop, he's going to be the number one overall pick, because no one wants to sit there at a table with their entire family, i.e. Aaron Rodgers, and they're throwing a mic in your face going, why do you think you're dropping tonight? And you have no idea. And this is why I love the draft. It's reality TV. Someone's going to fall tonight, and we're going to be sitting there going, how the hell is he still available? It happens every single year.
Imagine if Shedeur would have shown up last year.
Exactly. And he would literally got picked on day 3. It would have left from wherever the draft was. I forgot where it was. But, I mean, this is nothing. I think he's also known he's going to be the number one overall pick for months now. So There's not like some big surprise like, oh, I'm getting picked tonight. Like, yeah.
I'd say my only surprise is that he's not in his big ass house he's going to buy in Las Vegas.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the NBA. So the Suns lose last night to the Thunder, put up a little bit better of a fight, but still get blown out. Now, Devin Booker calls out the refs. So this is what he actually says. That in my 11 years, I haven't called out a ref by name, but James Williams was terrible tonight through and through. Said it's bad for the sport, bad for the integrity of the sport. People are going to start viewing this as WWE if they're not held responsible, as he called out the refs. Now, he got a technical, I believe in the third quarter, when he fell into like a fan on the side of the sitting courtside. And then the ref messed it up, called a T on J-Dub, and then flipped it and then called it on Booker. There were multiple T's called in the second half. Does Booker have a point, or is this just little sour grapes?
NBA officiating is bad, and we can all come to grips with that. And D-Book has a point. Now, I'd say couple things here. I'm surprised Devin Booker's been in the league for 11 years. Time really does fly, and that's kind of crazy that he's already been in the league for 11 years.
That is, you said that. I was like, that's kind of surprising.
That's crazy. Like, what is he? Was he 18 years old when he first got in? It's nuts that he's already at 11 years. But also, I'm glad that Devin Booker is doing this. Like, I don't think anything changes unless there's more of this. Like, when did we first start really hearing seriously about robo-ops or robo-umps in Major League Baseball? It's when that Twitter account started posting the report cards of every single Major League Baseball umpire.
I put pressure on him.
Like, nothing will happen if you continue to do the same. Like, D-Book is probably going to get a $50,000 fine for what he said last night, and that's probably the minimum. D-Book could be looking at some sort of suspension. They won't do it in the postseason, but maybe at the beginning of next year. Like, there's a lot that is coming at stake because of what he did last night, but I think it's the right thing to do, especially when guys are terrible at their jobs.
Booker has a listen, overall in terms of the game, I don't know if all refs are bad. In terms of technical fouls, I 100% agree with him.
And they're very choosy on who gets technical fouls.
Right. They're looking. Draymond Green says one thing, getting a technical foul. Luka Doncic says one thing, getting a technical foul. You can tell that it's completely subjective. I mean, we're sitting here at technical fouls. It is a subjective thing. Some refs don't really care what you say to them, and then some refs are using it as a tool to be like, kind of exert authority, and especially when we get to the playoffs. Like, that game wasn't close, so it's not as big of a deal. But if we're having 1 or 2 point games in the playoffs, and we're sitting here talking about in the second quarter a ref getting upset, teeing someone up, and that changing the outcome of a game, that is extremely disappointing. I agree with him in this sense that the NBA needs to get a handle on this, because it does feel like, depending on the ref of the game, there'll be a gazillion technical fouls or no technical fouls, and a technical foul should be reserved for unlawful play. Someone like hitting someone out of the play, doing something like that, not just mouthing off, talking crap to each other, and all of a sudden we're teeing up the whole teams. I don't like that.
We got time for one quickie.
Let's go to, so the Knicks are taking on the Hawks tonight. Per report, if the Knicks go out early, Karl-Anthony Towns might be on the move. They might ship him out of town from New York. How do you see this series playing out? And do you think Karl-Anthony Towns is the number one reason why the Knicks are tied 1-1?
Wildly disappointed in the Knicks so far. I feel like they have not played well in either game. They're lucky to be tied at this point. But yeah, if they get out, it's probably time to start looking at just building around Brunson and forgetting about the cat thing altogether.
It does feel like they're so desperate for a star in New York alongside Jalen Brunson that they rushed and pulled this trade. And Karl-Anthony Towns is a good player. He's not a great player. And I think the Knicks are going to find this out. I think they get through Atlanta because they're just probably going to outlast them through as the series goes on. But when you get to Boston, when you get to teams like that, I don't think Karl-Anthony Towns can be the number 2 on a championship team.
Is George Pickens on the move? We're going to get into it on the other side. Plus, your chance to win Parker McCollum tickets coming up very, very soon at San Diego Sports 760. You're listening live on the iHeartRadio app. It's San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock today. Sammy will keep the party rolling then from 2 to 3. Schaefer and Sleewall will be your drive home. We got the NFL draft tonight, baby. It's going to be a lot of fun. Las Vegas Raiders on the clock. Fernando Mendoza expected to go number 1 overall, and we will see after that. The betting public is split down the middle. Wild that nobody really knows where number 2 and number 3 are going to be. Nobody knows if there's going to be a trade into the top 3. I've seen scenarios where the Cowboys trade up to the top 3. The Saints are now heavily being rumored to be trading up for that Cardinals 3rd overall pick. We'll see. It is going to be chaos, but we do know this. We do know that George Pickens apparently is available for trade. And there's a lot of NFL teams heading into this year that could use them some George Pickens. We'll get to that in a second. I did want to read this text from the 619. It says, I know it's NFL draft day and we're all excited about that, but did you guys see Miles Heide just got paid $1.5 million at Virginia Tech? First of all,
Miles Heide.
Good for Miles Heide. Man, I am not going to rain on anyone's parade if they're going to cash in $1.5 million to play at Virginia Tech. That's awesome news for him. I did see San Diego State just added Chance Gladden out of Boston University, averaged like 15 points a game last year as a guard. So you're starting to see the Aztecs basketball lineup really rounding into form. It's crazy how fast this all has to happen. Like March Madness just got put into the rearview mirror, and you're seeing teams who, if you're not close to being finished putting together your roster by now, you're behind.
Well, it is crazy how college football and college basketball used to be like 20 years ago sports that when it was on, it was on. When it was off, it was just out of sight, out of mind. And both those sports now, it really is. It's a full-time job. That's why you see so many coaches that would rather coach in the NFL or the NBA.
Yeah, and a college GM is now a thing.
Right, because it's in the NFL, you don't have to convince anybody to come play or recruit your own guys. And the guys that are coming up in free agency years ahead of time, same in the NBA. College basketball and college football, man, it's hard that you're recruiting your own guys, recruiting other guys. No one is in the portal. I mean, there's so much.
By the way, you're recruiting your own guys for the entire year. Like you don't see 4-year athletes anymore. In fact, one that you did see was Chris Johnson, who played at San Diego State all 4 years. Didn't really play a lot his freshman, sophomore year. Was one of the best corners in the country his junior and senior year, and he's being rewarded. San Diego State football put out a little video today. That was an interview with Chris, and Chris was talking about how important it was that he stayed at the same place for all 4 years, and how it is possible for anybody out there to go to a university now, stay for all 4 years, and still achieve the dream.
And that is cool to hear Chris Johnson say that, because I know he's on with Schaefer and Sleewood and said the same thing. It's because there's been this,
like he wouldn't have had the same success had he moved around.
Exactly, and we've seen guys all throughout college football and college basketball that don't like their minutes, don't like how they're being used, and are immediately out. I mean, immediately I'm in the portal. So it's like the players have all the power. It is cool seeing a prospect like Chris Johnson that really, had offers to go to, Power 4 schools and play at big time programs, decided to stay at San Diego State and kind of build something, which is
why chance he gets his name called tonight.
Yes, sir.
I know you're over there licking your chops, hoping he falls to 40.
Yeah, like Chris, if you're listening, I want the best for you. Ideally, I hope you drop tonight to 40 to the Chiefs, and then we pick you at 40. But listen, whatever happens, happens.
There's a few teams connected to him. Cowboys are connected to him.
He don't want to go to Dallas. He wants to come to KC.
Chiefs are connected to him. I did see the Bengals connected to him. If I was Chris, I would want to maybe go to the first two that were connected to him. But
no, definitely not Cincinnati.
All right, George Pickens. This is kind of crazy. We got like 30 seconds, and we'll continue to react to this throughout the day. But George Pickens, Cowboy star receiver, across from CeeDee Lamb. Apparently, the rumor mill's open. Now, do we think this is a little bit of just a smoke screen, a smoke grenade thrown in there by Jerry Jones and the Cowboys? Because that's kind of where I'm at right now.
I think it's smart by the Cowboys, even if nothing happens today, because at the very least, any of these teams in the 20s, teams like Pittsburgh, the Chargers,
You're
the
making
Bills,
them think about it.
Right, who are sitting there going, wait, I need a receiver.
You have to at least spin your wheels on the fact that George Pickens could be available. Now, I don't think he is.
Because the top three are Tate, Lemon, and Tyson. The teams in the 20s likely are not touching any of those players. So unless you believe in a Casey Concepcion or Denzel Boston, which are very good players, I like that the Cowboys are throwing this out here going, hey, you want to give us a first round pick tonight for Pickens? We're listening. So if a team is too far back, they might rush a deal for Pickens. It's smart to throw it out there that he might be available.
It's a little draft day curveball. By the way, it's the first one. It's not going to be the last one. We're going to see a lot more come our way over the next few hours. All right, it's San Diego Sports 760. We have a fantasy football expert on this show. His name is
Big
Stan
Stan.
Leszynski. Big Stan. He joined us every week of the NFL season last year. He's going to help us talk through some of the offensive players in this year's draft and see how they will translate to the NFL. He's been doing his homework. I know that, man. Stan Leszynski next here on San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
The sport is sponsored by Anderson Plumbing, Heating, and Air. Padres currently down 1-0 on the Colorado Rockies on the top of the second. And per Shams Charania, as of right now, Thunder's Jalen Williams has sustained a grade 1 left hamstring strain and will be reevaluated on a weekly basis after getting injured in last night's game against the Suns. And the NFL draft tonight gets going at 5:00. Fernando Mendoza, widely expected to be the number 1 overall pick to the Las Vegas Raiders. At number 2, the Jets are considering David Bailey, pass rusher out of Texas Tech, or the pass rusher Arvell Reese out of Ohio State. Choosing the right home service company isn't just about fixing what's broken. It's about trusting who's in your home. That's why homeowners count on Anderson for friendly, professional service that keeps everything running right. Visit AndersonPHA.com.
San Diego Sports 760, Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you. Hey, do us a favor and go to the free iHeartRadio app. Tap that little plus icon. Helps us out in a big way. On YouTube, we got some comments coming in. Steven on YouTube says, as expected, Waldron is inept. He gave up a first inning home run. Jay Silv saying, get the F out of Colorado. And what's
Yes.
cracking, boys? What's cracking with you, Jay Silv?
What's cracking, boys?
It's good to see you, man. We got Stan Leszynski here. So dynastypricecheck.com. We joked a lot last year that we were catching the tail of a rocket on its way to the moon and outer space
Sir.
when it comes to the next big fantasy football expert. And I say we were kind of joking last year. I always believed that if you go look at dynastypricecheck.com, these days, we were dead honest and we were dead right. Like, it is catching the tail of a rocket because Stan Leszynski has created what I would say is the best fantasy football website on the planet. So much innovation has come over the last couple of months. Stan Leszynski, how you doing, brother? It's good to hear from you.
Man, thank you guys so much for the praise and the acknowledgement. We've been in the lab grinding for you guys. I do agree. Best fantasy tool is out there, dynastypricecheck.com. Come check it out. And man, am I excited for tonight's draft.
Stan has been working all offseason to try to differentiate Dynasty Price Check from the rest, and it shows, man. The website looks great. Congratulations on that. Let's take a look at some of these players tonight, Stan. So you can't really start with this year's offensive draft without looking at Jeremiah Love. Excellent running back. Looks to have all the tools to be an excellent NFL running back. What do you see from him, and what team are you hoping he lands with?
Man, Jeremiah Love is one of those prospects that you can't help but just have your eyes glued to the screen when the tape is on. He is scheme agnostic. He's fantastic. He can handle a full workload in the backfield. He can catch passes, 3 down back. I think big play upside is evidently there. This guy is not making it very far, guys. I think he's going to be a top 5 pick, in my opinion. If he doesn't make it to the Giants at 5, I think he's going to go to the Tennessee Titans, but we will see what happens. This guy is not making it very far, though. Let me tell you that.
Stan, it's good to hear your voice, brother. Congrats on your Seahawks, by the way. We're going to get to the bet that Ben Fletcher has not paid up yet here in a little bit. But what receivers, or you look at the receivers tonight, so Jordan Tyson from Arizona State, Carnell Tate from Ohio State, and Mekhi Lemon from SC feel like the top 3 guys. Which of those kind of stand out to you, and who do you think's in the receiver market in the top 15?
Man, I mean, this is all about wide receivers this year, guys. This is probably the deepest wide receiver class that I have scouted, at least in the last 5 years, as far as just genuine depth and talent goes. Like, you hit the nail on the head. Lemon, Tyson, Tate. Those are going to be your top 3 guys, I would imagine, that get taken tonight. But we should not be ignoring guys like Casey Concepcion. Denzel Boston could be a first-round draft pick. There's a little bit of buzz that Omar Cooper Jr. could sneak into the first round. Plus, there's just a bunch of guys out there in the second, third round that I really like. Elijah Surratt could be a serious hitter. My true sleeper of the class, and you heard it here first when he hits in the NFL, Jacoby Lane, man. I love him out of USC. Think he is an especially interesting prospect with a big body frame, chances to make some acrobatic catches. But when you talk about the top guys, and those were the guys you alluded to at the beginning, I will say this. I think everybody has their role in that top 3, and it is a dart throw here. But overall, the ceiling pick for me is Jordan Tyson. I think he is potentially the best guy in this class. The real question is, can he stay on the field? He's had some injury concerns throughout college, and because of that, we really haven't gotten to see him perform at potentially the top level of his acumen. Now, that all being said, special athlete, finds open space, very fluid with his routes and finding soft spots in the zone. I like Jordan Tyson as my guy. All that being considered, though, Mekhi Lemon, he's going to be your safest pick. Probably your most translatable for fantasy football, which I know we all care about. As a PPR guy, Mekhi Lemon, deemed as mostly a slot merchant, but we've seen that script before. Jackson Smith and Jigba clearly can get it done outside of the slot, as have predecessors before him. I think Lemon is a yak machine. He catches everything. He's a target hog. He is probably the safest guy in this entire class. But then you talk about your true X of the class, the outside receiver that can stretch the field, that has a little bit of George Pickens in him, and that's Carnell Tate. Potentially going to be the top draft pick off the board for the wide receivers, simply because the archetype, guys, way harder to find those true X's today than it is to find some of those translatable slot guys. So while I think Mekhi Lemon could be the best in this class, I think Carnell Tate might be the first one off the board. All being considered, though, you're really rolling the dice with any of these three guys, and I can't imagine any of the teams that get their hands on them are going to be disappointed.
It's the information motherload with Stan Leszynski. DynastyPriceCheck.com is where you find him. Stan, I've done a number of these pre-draft interviews with fantasy football guys, with draft experts. I can promise you none of them have gone 7 or 8 minutes without talking about the quarterback position. And that's what we've done. We've gone 7 or 8 minutes without talking about the quarterback position. And that's just what this draft feels like. Like Fernando Mendoza has been going number 1 for a couple months now. Everyone's known that. But Fernando Mendoza, in your world, in dynasty fantasy football, in fantasy relevance, how do you project his career moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, Mendoza's an interesting one, honestly, because I think your player comp for him would have to be kind of in that range of Matt Ryan, like a quick processor, hard worker, precision thrower, but he's got a little bit more rushing upside and dog in him than I think people want to give him credit for. Now, I'm not telling you this guy's going to be running for first downs left and right, but could he punch 4 to 5 rushing touchdowns in a year just because he's a competitor? And we watched him do that at Indiana. I think that's a very big possibility for Mendoza. Plus, we also can't ignore, look at what that man did, Clint Kubiak I'm talking about, with Sam Darnold. Gave him a damn ring like you were talking about. So I think Mendoza getting some great coaching, solid play calling from the beginning on an ascending program with weapons like Genty and Bowers, and they've got tons of draft capital. Maybe they dip in the wide receiver bucket this draft class. I think Mendoza's got a great ceiling. The only other thing I'll say about quarterback in this class, not a lot of other guys turn my eye, but I do think Ty Simpson is a guy to keep your eye on. He's a bit of a volatile prospect, but he's great in the pocket, and he understands how to manipulate a defense with pre-snap motion. He's good with his eyes. I think he's one of those guys that definitely could be coachable. If he lands in the right system with some time to develop, this could be an NFL starter.
So I was going to ask about Ty Simpson. Do you think there's been a lot of buzz? Maybe the Rams sit him for a year. I mean, you got the Cardinals interested, maybe the Jets, Pittsburgh. If you had an ideal spot, would it be the Rams because he got to sit, or where would you go with that?
Yeah, I mean, if we're talking player development, I don't know if you can get much better behind sitting back, listening to Matthew Stafford, your reigning MVP, with Sean McVay, offensive mastermind, helping you along the way. I mean, that's got to be a dream landing spot as far as development goes. As far as opportunity goes, I do think, yeah, you got to stick in the NFC West and look at the Arizona Cardinals. That's probably your greatest chance to starting, at least by the end of the season, or maybe being able to pick up the mantle next year. Now, all that being considered, though, guys, as we've seen, quick starts doesn't always translate well for these prospects. We watched, guys like Anthony Richardson flame out quite quickly because of it. And so I think that all being considered, you're going to have your dream landing spots, and then you're going to have your more realistic landing spots. But I do think Ty Simpson gets a chance somewhere.
Now, Stan, an interesting part of this year's draft is the tight end position, because it doesn't feel like there's that many great ones, although you got a couple of really good ones. Oscar Delp, Kenyon Sadiq, Oscar Delp out of Georgia, Kenyon Sadiq, obviously the Oregon guy, is expected to be the top dude. Anyone, is there a Brock Bowers in this year's draft?
Yeah, well, I'm really glad you asked about tight ends, because I've been spitting this fact all over my videos for the last couple of weeks. And fantasy football players, listen up here, okay? If you guys are familiar with the Mackey Award, it goes to the best college tight end every single year. Here is your list since 2017, okay? Mark Andrews, TJ Hawkinson, Harrison Bryant, Kyle Pitts, Trey McBride, Brock Bowers, Tyler Warren. Okay, outside of Harrison Bryant, a one-year outlier since 2017, what do all those names have in common? Multiple top 10 finishes in fantasy at the position, multiple Pro Bowls outside of Tyler Warren, who I think will be a multiple Pro Bowler. He's just coming off a rookie season. But all that being considered, do you know who won the Mackey Award this year? It's Eli Stowers. And Eli Stowers is my guy at the tight end position this year. He could be better than Sadiq. Doesn't necessarily have the same level of freak athleticism, but this guy could damn near play wide receiver. He's that solid with his route running, his special athletic ability, his positional versatility, former quarterback. So, he already understands how to read a defense and can do these gadget plays in the backfield. But I like Stowers a lot. And quite frankly, as you progress down the list, there's a couple interesting names. keep your eyes on Max Clare, Justin Jolly, Michael Trigg. These could all be some significant dynasty fantasy football tight ends come this time next offseason.
What do you make of, so Stephen Jones says George Pickens not going to be getting a long-term extension, at least during the season this year. Report that came out earlier, he might be traded today. They're listening to offers on him. Do you think he gets moved? But if he doesn't, how do you see George Pickens as a fantasy player this year? Do you think because it's a contract year, he might be unbelievable? Or do you think last year was the best we could have seen of Pickens?
I will say it's his most ideal fantasy production to stay in Dallas. Dak loves to air the ball out. That Brian Schottenheimer offense was rolling last year with him and CD together. And so I think if you are looking purely fantasy football wise and you're a George Pickens owner in Dynasty right now, you're praying he signs a long-term extension in Dallas. Now, other things being considered, like you mentioned with the potential trade rumors, I could see that happening. I could see Jerry not being able to afford this guy, especially with how the wide receiver market's going these days and Alec Pierce getting $100 million. But that all being considered, wherever George Pickens goes, he has done enough now to prove his upside, and I would still expect at the very minimum high-end wide receiver 2 production out of him, if not wide receiver 1. But most ideally, he stays in Dallas for our fantasy owners.
All right, Stan, you are the best, man. DynastyPriceCheck.com. I promise you this because Sammy's going to hound me all show long. Before the NFL season begins, when there are NFL fantasy football drafts going on, we will have you in studio.
And you will wear a Seahawks jersey.
I will wear a Seahawks jersey. And it'll just be a nice reminder to you that it was a great flash in the pan for the Seahawks. But it's over. Kubiak won you that Super Bowl. No one else.
There you go. I can't wait for the day. I love to see it. I'm so excited to see what my Seattle Seahawks get up to. My bet is, guys, here's your call. Seattle's not picking tonight. We're trading out of that 32 spot. All right. You heard it here first. Dynasty Price Check.
There's going to be a lot of moves today.
Stan, I got you. Usually Super Bowl champs don't usually pick on night one because they dip out. Ben wouldn't know about that as a Niner fan.
Oh,
but
my
we
God.
get it.
I hate you both. Stan, thank you for your time, brother. DynastyPriceCheck.com. That's how people get in touch with you, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. DynastyPriceCheck.com. Dynasty Price Check on YouTube and TikTok. Please come on. Show some love, guys.
Are you still managing people's fantasy football teams this year, or are you going to take a break from the craziness?
You know what? I am ready to dive head on back in. Don't you worry about it.
Would it be weird if you manage my Dynasty fantasy football team, considering we're in the same Dynasty fantasy football league?
You know, Ben, it might be a conflict of interest, but I can't lie. There might be some moves I can help you with. We'll stay in touch, my friend.
Wait, Ben is in a dynasty league with you?
Yeah.
He is.
I've been like the worst team in it for the last few years, but I got a young squad. I feel like this might be my year to sniff some playoffs.
I'm going to invite myself in.
It's expensive, man. This has been such a donation every year.
Please.
My God. Stan, thank you for your time, brother.
I got you guys.
Stan Leszynski, DynastyPriceCheck.com. You got to go check out his work. All right, we're going to take a quick break here. Long shots on the other side. Sammy's going to make us all some money. That's next on the free iHeartRadio app. Yeehaw, y'all. It's the Lakeside Rodeo, and it starts tonight. It's Fletch. Listen up. The Lakeside Rodeo is going on now, baby. If you're sitting there thinking, hey, what are we doing later? It's such a boring night just sitting here on the couch. I've got your answer. This is one of the best, most affordable nights out you'll find for the whole family. My wife and I have been going to the Lakeside Rodeo for years. We are going this Saturday night. I will be pouring beer. If you want to come on out there, go to lakesiderodeo.com. Lakesiderodeo.com is where you buy the tickets. It kicks off tonight. It's running through Sunday. Bull riding, steer wrestling, rodeo queens, tons of activations for the kiddos. It is the 62nd annual Lakeside Rodeo, family friendly, easy on the wallet, and it supports the El Capitan Stadium Association, giving back to local youth right here in Lakeside. If you've never seen barrel racing, you got to check it out. Grab the family, make a plan for tonight, tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday. Get on out to the Lakeside Rodeo. Get your tickets now at lakesiderodeo.com. That is lakesiderodeo.com. I will see you out there. You can tell when a guy like lives and breathes something and can talk for hours and hours and hours about it. That is Stan Leszynski with fantasy football.
I love Stan, bro.
I swear to that league that I'm in with him and a bunch of other guys from college that I went to college with that he knew from somehow, some way, is so intimidating. Like they spend all of them 40, 25, at least 25 hours per week all year long on fantasy football.
You know, so we texted Stan about coming on the show. We're like, I've talked to Stan in a while. It'd be great to have him on ahead of the draft. And like, I had the thought, I was like, oh, maybe he doesn't follow college football as closely. And this guy's breaking down.
Dude, he's locked in
the top 10 receivers in the draft. Eli Stowers. I mean, like going down.
His career,
Michael Trigg.
His career is dynasty fantasy football, which he starts following guys like their sophomore year of college.
I absolutely love it.
It's crazy.
Everyone loves Stan.
Stan's the best, man. I really, really do love that guy. He is fantastic. All right. San Diego Sports 760. We want to say those same nice things about Sammy Long, but he needs to produce a winner for us. Is today the day that it happens?
Rich said I need to stay away from hockey bets in the state of Pennsylvania.
I would agree with that statement. All right, it's San Diego Sports 760. This is a little something called Sammy's Long Shots. Sammy, smash.
You looking for some luck? Want to win big? Gotta play big.
You are so money, and you don't even know it.
Time to take a chance.
Say that me and his man.
With Long Shots.
Wish we would have done this like an hour ago because we would have smashed the over-under in the Padres game. My God, it's the second inning. It's 4-2 Rockies.
Thank Matt Waldron for that.
Thanks, Matt Waldron.
Okay.
The YouTube chat does not like Matt Waldron.
Yeah, YouTube chat. YouTube chat is not a part of the Matt Waldron fan club.
Well, that's the whole point of Lucas Giolito, by the way. So you're seeing the reason play out live why the Padres went out and got Lucas Giolito.
Some of these at-bats from the Stars for the Padres, by the way, what are we doing here?
Yeah, pretty atrocious. Where are we going? Okay. Miguel Andujar had a really nice at-bat.
Listen, I don't know why my camera's all hazy right now.
You're fine.
Anyway.
Some people say they like you with a little blur.
They like a little mystery behind the mask. Okay, the NFL draft. If you do not gamble, and you go, Sammy tells me to gamble every day and I don't do it, this is your time to open the account, get involved, because this is when the sports books are the most liable tonight because of the NFL draft. Sports books get very nervous about all the money coming in on NFL draft, which is why they handicap bets. All right, players draft in the top 10. Ruben Bain at minus 137. This is tremendous value. He's going in the top 10.
Wait, where are you getting these?
Kalshi. How about Kalshi? You go to sports draft. Okay, you got all kinds of bets for the NFL. Ruben Bain will be a top 10 pick. He's a slight favorite at minus 137. This has jumped around. Listen, he was it came out a week or two ago. He was in a car crash a couple of years ago. someone unfortunately passed away in the seat next to him. There was a whole kind of situation. And a lot of people thought that was going to make him fall late in the first round. Well, every team knew about this ahead of it. He's been cleared. He's 2-3 years ago. He will be a top 10 pick. This was a guy who was considered a top 3 pick before the NFL draft combine. Bailey and Arvell Reese, their measurables really had them shoot up the board. Bain is one of the best pass rushers in all of college football. Now will be in the NFL. Out of Miami, him and Akeem Messidor were wrecking havoc on Ohio State, Indiana, even in that championship game. I know Bain, I don't even think will be there. If he's there at 9, the Chiefs will take him. If the Chiefs do not take him, the Giants, I doubt, pass him up at number 10. So Ruben Bain is going to be a top 10 pick. Lock that in for us. All right, we're going to go to the number 2 overall pick. Arvell Reese on Kalshi is the favorite at minus 149. David Bailey's going to be the number 2 overall pick to the New York Jets, plus 123. There's been a lot of smoke screens thrown out here in the last week. David Bailey, the Jets apparently canceled his pre-draft visit a week or two ago. Bailey was on FaceTime with reporters the other day and said that the FaceTime with the Jets went well. Reese is a great player and will be a tremendous player for whatever team gets him. But you have some questions there because the defense was so stacked around him with Sonny Styles, McDonald, Caleb Downs. I love what David Bailey does. He reminds me of Von Miller. He's got speed, juice off the edge. I think he's the number 2 overall pick. I think they just go with the best pure pass rusher at number 2 because Reese did play a little more off-ball linebacker, even though he was a pass rusher. David Bailey was a strict pass rusher at Texas Tech. I believe he's going number 2 tonight to the New York Jets, plus 128.
Daniel Jeremiah agrees with you.
Daniel Jeremiah. Shout out to Daniel Jeremiah. And then I'm trying to find the best value for this. Oh, I love this right here. Pro Football, number 4 overall pick. You can go for the exact picks on Kalshi. Jeremiah Love, plus 181. He's going to the Titans. This nonsense. There's all these rumors that he's going to go number 3 to the Jets tonight. No. Or not number 3 to the Cardinals tonight. No. The Cardinals are looking to move out of that pick. If the Cardinals took him at number 3, he would instantly be one of the top paid running backs in the NFL because of what the number 3 overall pick makes. This is a late smoke screen. They're trying to get teams to trade up, see if they get Jeremiah Love. He's going to go number 4. If he's there at number 4, Robert Saleh did more with less with that Niner defense last year that was missing Nick Bosa, missing Fred Warner, missing Micah Williams, and took a lot of these guys. I'm complimenting your boys. Took a lot of these guys who were late round draft picks and made them a stud defense.
No, I know. I just had an epiphany. You think Ruben Bain Jr. is going to the Chiefs at 9.
Exactly.
That's why you said he's a top 10 pick.
That's what I said.
That's what you want.
No, he's going at 9.
Okay.
I'm trying to make you money. Anyway, Jeremiah Love, number 4, he's going to the Titans. They need to get Cam Ward some weapons around him. What better way to do that than to get him a bell cow running back at number 4? Jeremiah Love, star running back from Notre Dame, will be headed to the Tennessee Titans.
I like it. That's going to keep me into the draft tonight. I promise you that. Not that you need extra reasoning, but this is fun. All right, it's San Diego Sports 760. Coming up in hour number 2, Parker McCollum tickets. He's going to be playing at Viejas Arena. Coach Kentera, hour number 2? Sammy?
No, Coach Kentera will be coming on tomorrow at 12:30.
Perfect. That means more NFL draft talk. Coming up next at San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
The sport sponsored by Unbound.org. Matt Waldron serving up some BP to the Rockies right now, 5-2, as a look at close out the series against the Colorado Rockies in the top of the third inning to be taking on the Diamondbacks in Mexico City over the weekend. The NFL draft tonight. Fernando Mendoza, widely expected to be the number 1 overall pick, heads to the Las Vegas Raiders. Arvell Reese is a slight favorite in Vegas to be the number 2 pick to the Jets. They have acknowledged they are deciding between Reese and Bailey for that number 2 selection. And the Arizona Cardinals at number 3 have been fielding trade calls for the last week. Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice: continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at Unbound.org.
I'm Ben Fletcher. That's Sammy Long.
I'm excited about it. It brings a lot of people together.
Now, live from the East Set studios of San Diego Sports 760, we go in the zone with Fletch and Sammy.
Let's get it going here in hour number 2. If it's your first time joining us, my name is Ben Fletcher. That man across from me, his name is Sammy Long. We do the show every single day from noon to 2. Sammy stays on for another hour, going along with Sammy from 2 to 3. Schaefer and Sliwa are your drive home, our brand new afternoon drive show that's kicking ass and taking names. Padres are playing right now. Score is 5-2 in the bad guys' direction. Rockies are up. Padres took a bad loss last night. We might be able to talk a little pods coming up in just a little bit. But for now, it is NFL draft day. Like, clear the deck, stop everything. This day is one of the most important days until the NFL season continues coming up here a little bit later on. So when we look at things on the outset, I got my guy, Daniel Jeremiah. Sammy's got his guy, Mel Kiper Jr. They have both come out with their final NFL mock drafts. And the question that is now just rotting in the back of my brain is the fact that Sammy and I are going to be watching 2 very different NFL draft coverages tonight.
Well, I recorded.
You won't leave ESPN.
Well, no. I will have it on ESPN. I record both, so when the Chiefs pick, I can go back and analyze what everyone says. I'll be flipping around, but yes, primarily I will be with my guy Mel.
You stick with ESPN, I stick with the NFL Network, and that's okay. That's just 2 very different things. It's like someone who loves HBO and someone who loves Hulu. You're going to get different aspects of the same great stuff.
Which one is Hulu and which one is?
I think you know. If you have to ask, I think you know.
ESPN is not Hulu.
ESPN is Hulu in this scenario. Yeah, you got Family Guy and Scrubs, and you can have some fun over there. I got Entourage over at the Cool Kids table, which is HBO. That's okay. We can.
Well, no, I agree that HBO is better than Hulu. I think you have a misguided idea of what desk. Louis Riddick and Mel Kiper on ESPN. All I have to say.
There's better analysis coming from the NFL Network. Is all I have to say.
By the way, I'm a big Daniel Jeremiah fan. I watched his mock draft last night, but I don't appreciate this slander and this hate that you're sending Mel's way.
I no one's hating on Mel Kiper. We're just saying that there's the first to do it and there's the best to do it. And I know that Mel was the first. I don't know that he's necessarily
I don't
the
need
best.
You're just holding a grudge from Shador last year.
The Shador was a massive miss. It's not just me either, Sammy.
He might be the starting quarterback of the Cleveland Browns this year. How is that a massive miss?
It was a massive miss in terms of the guy who was supposed to predict the NFL draft missed by 3.5 rounds. That's why it was a massive miss.
Okay, here's the thing, though. When you
spent an hour and a half both days of the draft complaining about the fact that he hasn't been picked yet.
Because Shador Sanders is one of the most unique situations we have ever seen on draft night. You know damn well, and look me in the eyes when I say you this, because you know damn well Shador Sanders fell on draft night because of external factors, not just from his play on the field. Even if he wasn't going to be a first-round pick, NFL Network guys had him as a first-round pick as well. He fell because people didn't want to deal with the Deion headache, and they thought he was too cocky and in meetings. And maybe that's Shador's prerogative, and maybe he was a jerk in meetings and made teams not want to draft him, but let's not act like on merit, on talent alone, he was not a first-round pick last year.
And we still don't know if he's going to be any good.
Right, but that has nothing to do with the fact of what he did in college, of why he should be a first-round pick.
Correct. It was a lot about how he was in pre-draft meetings with teams. It was a lot about the perfume that he was wearing to pre-draft meetings, the music he was playing, the disinterest in when he was being there, all things that I outside of the cologne maybe, are important when it comes to being an NFL quarterback. But Shador Sanders is an argument for a year ago. I think what's unique about this year's draft is there's a legitimate chance for chaos tonight. You're starting to see more and more rumors about different teams trading up or trading current players on NFL teams. Like, there is a chance that this is one of the more action-packed draft nights. I hope that Adam Schefter is getting his twinkle toe sleep right now, because he's not going to be able to sleep for a long time. I think there's going to be a lot of movement.
Well, there's this narrative around the draft that it's not as good, and I could completely disagree.
I disagree. Just because there's not quarterbacks at the top doesn't mean anything. I think that adds for more chaos.
I think you could also make the argument that this draft might be one of the most foundational drafts for NFL teams that we've seen in decades, because quarterbacks get the headlines. People recognize quarterbacks from college, or star receivers, or star running backs who were on the Heisman conversation. But look at the teams who win Super Bowls. Great defensive lines, great offensive lines. I mean, Mahomes has gotten blasted in 2 Super Bowls because his team could not put a competent offensive line on the field. It's not about just all the skill position players that you can gather. That's why I think tonight is so fun, because the front 7 and the offensive line, there's a lot of picks to be had. And we're going to see who goes with the flashy receiver picks, which is a solid pick. There's some really talented receivers in the draft, or who really builds from the ground up.
Now, here's the part of tonight's draft that I don't necessarily like, and we can get into this more as the show goes on, and we got the big 3 coming up in a second here. The top story on ESPN underneath the NFL tab right now has nothing to do with Fernando Mendoza or Avril Reese or Bailey or Jeremiah Love. It has to do with Mike Vrabel. And it has to do with the fact that Mike Vrabel is the Patriots head coach, and he will be missing day 3 of the NFL draft this year to go seek counseling. Fine. I understand mental health is important, but here's the thing. This keeps getting worse and worse and worse for Mike Vrabel, because you could tell there were some tabloids who had pictures of Mike Vrabel and Diana Rossini from 6 years ago.
They're getting a little cozy at a bar.
6 years ago. Not just cozy. There was lip-to-lip contact. Like, this is now confirmed. Like, this is, it's a thing. And apparently Mike Vrabel had a players-only meeting. And I'll tell you this, if that meeting did not involve the fact that this is a thing that goes back 6 years, if this was a meeting where he told the locker room, hey, this was a one-time thing, everyone makes mistakes, learn from me, you just lost the locker room, dude. I can legitimately see the path forward to where Mike Vrabel has to step down as the Patriots head coach because of all of this craziness.
Well, what makes me laugh is I saw this happen.
I don't know that any of this is a laugh. This is a life destroyer.
What's funny as hell is that he goes,
the memes are pretty great.
He's missing. They're like, the Patriots are like, because they got flack for Diana Rossini's out of a job, and Mike Vrabel's facing no repercussions whatsoever. So they come out today and they go, or yesterday, Mike Vrabel's missing day 3 of the draft to go to counseling, but he will be there in the draft room for tonight and tomorrow. So that counseling has to wait until Saturday. By the way, not a lot of therapists work on Saturday. As someone who has family members who are therapists,
sure,
I think this is hilarious PR from the Patriots.
Well, 100%. This isn't necessarily PR for the Patriots. My opinion on it is this is PR for Mike Vrabel's wife, because you saw he went to the podium and said, look, I had to have a lot of conversations because of these pictures, a lot of really tough conversations. Now, this was before the new pictures came out. I would imagine these conversations are getting a lot tougher. But this is for sure Mike Vrabel saying, look, sweetie, kids, football is less important than family. I'm going to take a day off, but it's not going to be one of the first 2 days. I'm going to take the third day.
So we
off.
Still need to see if we can get this first round pick right and day 2 and 3.
This is the Coldplay concert, but with bigger celebrities. Like, this sucks for Mike Vrabel's family. I feel terrible for him. I really do. Well, we're seeing this guy's personal life crumble and Diana Rossini's personal life crumble because of mistakes that they made. And it's kind of sick that once again, the entire internet, instead of I don't know, saying, okay, private stuff is private stuff, decides we're going to make a bunch of memes about Adam Schefter and Mike Vrabel.
The ones that you sent me over the last 24 hours?
They're hilarious memes, but it does suck that that's where we're at as a society.
Well, I mean, then you do the crime, do the time. I mean, I understand.
The time is going to be day 3 of the NFL draft.
My thing is this. It's sad that Diana Rossini, she resigned. Her career is probably over in this regard.
Well, at least this iteration of her career. She'll have one of the most successful podcasts ever.
But what the Patriots realized and what got a lot of flack was Mike Vrabel, no repercussions, while Diana Rossini, who did the same thing, they both cheated on their spouses.
Allegedly. According to pictures.
Allegedly. Yeah.
Also, page
Allegedly.
6, come on. Sitting on these pictures until he offers an apology out there,
Page 6.
sitting on those pictures and waiting to release them before he says, hey, you know what? Look, these pictures caused a lot of really tough conversations. And then going out and releasing a whole bunch of new pictures.
Page 6 doing diabolical work.
It is
Diabolical work from TMZ and Page 6.
I mean, this is legit. Like, this is the Coldplay concert just all over again. And this time with an NFL head coach and one of the top NFL reporters. Craziness. All right, San Diego Sports 760. Let's get to the big three here of hour number 2. Sammy's going to rip the top stories in the world of sports. Some big news out of the NBA playoffs, actually, that we're going to get to in just a little bit, including an injury. But Sammy, let's smash.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? I mean, coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. The Big Three.
What was that again, Fletch?
Smash the button. Not
Let's smash.
No, not let's.
Your
smash.
brain was still a little
Diana Rossini.
Diana Rossini and Mike Vrabel.
All right, where are we going, Sammy?
All right, so we're gonna get to the Jalen Williams injury here in a few minutes.
You got more pictures to leak or something?
Finding next on Sports 760 page. No, I'm kidding. We have Jalen Williams hurt for a little bit. The playoffs. We're gonna get to that coming up next. But check this. Per the AP, there are FIFA World Cup final tickets. Take a guess what there's 4 seats are selling for the FIFA World Cup final.
It's MetLife, isn't it?
It's at MetLife in New York. The FIFA World Cup final. Take a guess what this price is per seat.
For 4 seats?
Per seat.
I'm going per seat.
For 4, you can do either or.
$4,500 each.
No.
More?
There are $2.3 million.
What the hell?
Seats, tickets on the official resale website. FIFA World Cup final tickets going off at $2.3 million.
They're not selling for that much, though. They're listed for that much?
They're resale.
And where are these seats at? Are these on the freaking
The
field?
tickets are in block 124, row 45, in seats 33 through 36. In FIFA, this has been a massive problem because people gobbled up all these tickets, and now because it's such a big event, once in a lifetime event, they are reselling. People are reselling this up for $2.3 million. By the way, if I'm buying a ticket for $2.3 million, not that I've ever dreamed of having that much money, but let's just say I had $500 million in the bank and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go to the World Cup final. If I'm paying $2.3 million, there better be a helicopter dropping me off
at my seat.
That better be a recliner, fully staffed,
Craps table in front of me. And by the way, if you're gonna drop that kind of dough for a soccer game that lasts 90 minutes, like, this is $2.3 million for 96 minutes possibly. Also, say you're like a massive fan of one team who's going to be an international play in the FIFA World Cup, and that team doesn't make it, and you drop $2.3 million. This is craziness to me. Who's buying that? Why are we doing this? World, get better. Please, world, just get better.
Well,
Sammy,
by the way,
what's next?
Imagine buying that and your team losing.
That's what I'm saying. Like, imagine your team's not in it even. Like, you buy that ticket now expecting, Brazil's going to be in the final, and they're not. Like, that's crazy. All right, let's head to the NBA. Tonight's slate, we got Knicks, Hawks, Cavs, Raptors, and Nuggets, T-Wolves. So Cleveland's up 2-0. Knicks and Hawks tied 1 apiece, as well as Nuggets and Timberwolves. Now, the Nuggets and Timberwolves have had some juicy back and forth the last couple days. Jaden McDaniels called the entire Nuggets team trash defensively.
That's my favorite series, by the way.
And called them out by name. Went by name through the Nuggets lineup, called them out for being trash. The Nuggets responded and was basically yeah, out of sight, out of mind.
Ant-Man, Batman, Superman. T-Wolves in 5.
T-Wolves in 5. They who do you have the edge in that series to?
The Nuggets, because they have Jokic on their team. But that's my favorite series going right now in the playoffs, because they seem like they absolutely hate each other. I want there to be fistfights on the court tonight. I want there to be drama on the court tonight. Seriously, give me the T-Wolves to win this game, because I think Ant-Man's going to come out like a bat out of hell tonight. I think this is a lot of fun. I do think we're going to get a Jokic 30-20-20 game coming up pretty soon here. 30-20-10. Excuse me.
I love, just from a rivalry standpoint, we've talked a lot about in baseball and in basketball. Outside of Dodgers Padres, there's not a ton of rivalries left in the Major League Baseball, and the same with the NBA. You see guys exchanging jerseys after not a lot of Pistons Bulls back in the day, Lakers Celtics, where these teams hate each other. These teams have met multiple times in the playoffs for the last few years. It's fun that the T-Wolves and Nuggets feel like a little bit of a budding rivalry. They don't like each other. They're chirping each other in the media, and it adds another element to a playoff series when you have teams that genuinely dislike each other with a lot on the line. I mean, the Knicks and the Hawks, kind of same thing, making TJ McCollum out to be the villain. I enjoy this from the NBA. I kind of going Timberwolves. I think the Nuggets are flawed, and I think the Nuggets are finally being exposed to the fact that they do not play defense, regardless of the fact that Aaron Gordon and Cam Johnson are back. And the Timberwolves have more scores than they used to have. Ayo Dosunmu.
What are the ratings going to be for tonight's NBA games? Probably terrible, right?
Yes, anything not named the NFL draft will not be doing much tonight.
I would tend to agree. Like, I almost feel bad for these teams. It's a good thing the Lakers missed tonight because they wouldn't, like, the league wouldn't want the Lakers to be going tonight.
The league purposely did that. The league was like, we'll put the Lakers tomorrow night. The Knicks will draw because they're the Knicks. Like,
and they're the earliest game.
Right. Cavs Raptors, unless you're a Cavs Raptors fans, probably not drawing over the NFL draft.
All right, what's next?
But you do a little double. Okay. Going to the NBA, but to college basketball, potential number 1 overall pick, AJ DeBosa at BYU declares for the NBA draft. Makes a big announcement today. Should DeBosa be the favorite to go number 1? There's Cam Boozer out of Duke. You got Darren Peterson out of Kansas. Darius Acuff just announced he's going to the draft from Arkansas. Do you think DeBosa is the surefire number 1 pick in June's draft for the NBA?
Well, it's him or Peterson in my mind. Those are the two most talented players in college basketball coming out this year. Here's the thing. If the team at the top of the draft doesn't like Peterson off the court, then they should go with DeBosa, yes. If they don't like Peterson off the court, they should go with him. If they like Peterson on the court, he has the best measurables of anybody over the last couple of years, I think, in the NBA draft. Like, Peterson could be a great in the NBA. But if you think that he's a piece of crap off the court, don't take him. That's the only thing that holds him back, right? If you were drafting on NBA talent alone, Peterson would be the pick.
Right. In the narrative around Peterson, is not that he's like a bad dude off the court. It's that
he's lazy.
Does he want it? He's had a lot of injuries, called himself out of a game because he's sick, cramps. Like, there's a lot there with the former KU star. Now, right, DeBosa feels like the safest pick, especially in a hybrid league where you're having, a forward who can handle the ball, kind of in the ilk of Kevin Durant. Peterson, I think, can be a star at the next level. I think some of that was a little bit overblown, but I think Acuff has a shot too. Acuff is a nasty guard from Arkansas, kind of in a Tyrese Maxey type mold. I wouldn't be surprised if he's in the discussion for the number 1 overall pick.
I would pick Parker McCollum, number 1 overall. He's a country singer. He's going to be playing Viejas Arena very, very soon here in June. If you would like to go see Mr. McCollum free of charge, we got your tickets coming up next. On the other side here on San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app. Talking to the moms and the dads of San Diego right now because I know exactly what you're doing. You are killing a little bit of time before you have to go pick up the kids from school. And then you're thinking, how the hell am I going to entertain these little booger eaters the rest of the night? I got your plan. You're going to the Lakeside Rodeo. It starts tonight out at Lakeside Rodeo Grounds. It's the 62nd annual Lakeside Rodeo. It's family friendly. It's easy on the wallet, and it's supporting the El Capitan Stadium Association, giving back to local youth out in Lakeside. Grab the family, make plans for tonight, tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday, whatever day you can make your way on out there. You got to check it out. If it's your first time ever seeing a rodeo, you're going to get bull wrestling or bull riding, steer wrestling, rodeo queens, barrel races, all the fun stuff that you've only ever heard about and dreamed to be able to go to. Well, now is your chance. Get on out to the Lakeside Rodeo, lakesiderodeo.com. It is 4 straight days of rodeo action. I will be there on Saturday night. I'll be working one of the concession stands. Come on by, say hi. I will pour you a beer and charge you for that beer. But get on out to the Lakeside Rodeo. Check it out at lakesiderodeo.com. That is lakesiderodeo.com. We will see you out there. SDFC took a loss last night. They're looking to bounce back to their winning ways on Saturday night. They got Portland. Our coverage with Adrian Garcia Marquez and Darren Smith will begin at 6 o'clock right here on your home for SDFC San Diego Sports 760. They're in a rough stretch, man. They got to figure out a good way to get back out of this. We've talked to Darren Smith about it. He kind of told us, he's like, look, they've been dealing with injuries since Toluca. They've been dealing with quite a few things as they're kind of moving along through the regular season here. They're not that far off of where they were a year ago. Soccer is a little different than the rest of the sports that we follow and are a little more familiar with. It's all this point system, right? So if they could just get back on track a little bit, and a lot of their recent streak has been draws, not just straight losses. Last night was a loss. We'll see if they can get back to it coming up.
Gotta get back to goal scoring. It feels like it was working so well.
Put that ball in the net, boys. Come on.
Despite like Leszynski not being there, despite Chucky, and it feels like they went a little too far the other way and relying so much on the aggregate. And it feels like it's coming back to bite them a little bit recently.
Get back on the horse this Saturday. They got Portland. Pregame show will begin at 6 o'clock right here on San Diego Sports 760. All right, last night in the third quarter, I believe, Jalen Williams for the Oklahoma City Thunder goes down with a hamstring injury. He reached back for the leg immediately. It looked a lot like the Luka injury. Now, Luka's was a grade 2, which is a partial tear of the hamstring, and he's been out for at least a few weeks now, Luka.
Yep.
And
since that Oklahoma City game in a month ago?
Yeah, potentially. And that's usually a 4 to 6 week injury, the grade 2 hamstring strain. The grade 1, which is what Jalen Williams got last night, he got confirmed this morning by MRI. That is usually a 1 to 3 week injury, which means he's definitely missing the next 2 games of this series against the Phoenix Suns. The bigger question is, what does that mean for OKC? Not necessarily in this series against the Suns, because you probably feel like they have this one pretty much wrapped up already. What does this mean for the next series? Because if you've watched enough OKC over the years, Shai is great. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is phenomenal. He's probably the best player in the NBA right now. Their number 2 scorer, maybe their most reliable piece outside of SGA, is Jalen Williams, J-Dub, as he goes by in the streets. But J-Dub is going to be missing a little bit of time here now, potentially 3 weeks, man, depending on how bad this is. And everyone's hamstrings heal a little bit differently. They have a problem with nagging and sticking around for a little bit. So if J-Dub has to miss more than just 1 or 2 weeks, what does this mean for OKC? And does this put their title dreams in doubt?
Right. I mean, they'll mop Phoenix because it doesn't really matter if he's not there. They got guys like Isaiah Joe, Alex Caruso, AJ Mitchell's a young player that's really kind of popped off in this year, but it's getting ahead because the Lakers Rockets will be a good series. I think the Rockets will I don't think they're getting swept, but if the Lakers, they would match up, it would be Lakers OKC in the next round. Now, Oklahoma City would still be a big favorite because it really speaks to their depth. They play an excellent brand of defense, and all those defenders I mentioned, I mean, Dort and Caruso can take Reeves and Luka and LeBron. But you start to, like today at the sports books, the Lakers title odds jumped way up. And I don't think that's just because of the fact that they're up 2-0. If Jalen Williams is not there, again, Oklahoma City would still be a favorite, but you start to wonder, given how well the Lakers role players have played in this series, seeing Luke Kennard play out of his mind, Marcus Smart, players like that, Rui Ayton's playing some good ball right now, and certainly the Oklahoma City Thunder are a different beast than the Houston Rockets. But if Jalen Williams isn't there, he's the closer. Like, he had a 40-point game last year in the NBA Finals. It's at the end of the day, even though it's great seeing Isaiah Joe and all the supporting cast, it really comes down to Shai and J-Dub at the end of these games, closing it out, and then Chet getting it in down low. You take Jalen Williams out of that equation, you start to wonder if the Lakers, the Spurs, the winner of that Nuggets Timberwolves series, if Oklahoma City is not a lot more susceptible. And I certainly think even if they got there to the NBA Finals and Jalen Williams wasn't there and they were facing Boston, I think Boston would actually be a favorite if Jalen Williams is not playing.
Boston's got their hands full right now.
Right.
But for OKC, the way I thought about this as soon as I saw the injury and as soon as I saw the timetable this morning, I'm thinking about it, man, if the Lakers can sneak past Houston here and make quick work and all of a sudden get Luka, get Reeves back, if there's a hampered or a minutes restricted or a non-existent J-Dub for OKC, all of a sudden that swings things and like it's a whole different series. If it's SGA and OKC without Jalen Williams against LeBron, Luka, Reeves, there's something to think about there.
Quiet optimism right now.
Oh, Sammy's just licking his chops. He's thinking about Chris Johnson at number 40 in the NFL draft. He's thinking about the Lakers. Man, it must be nice to be just a fan of, I don't know, the Lakers and the Chiefs.
Goodness gracious. All right, it's San Diego Sports 760. You're listening live on the iHeartRadio app. Would you like some Parker McCollum tickets? Because he's going to be performing at Viejas Arena coming up on June 18th. Ticketmaster.com to buy tickets, but we don't need you to buy tickets. No. You can win them for free right now. 877-767-4760. Sammy, what number caller would you like to give these
Let's do number 6.
Call number 6. You're going to the show at San Diego Sports 760. You're listening live on the iHeartRadio app.
The sports sponsored by Anderson Plumbing, Heating, and Air is currently 5-3 favor of the Colorado Rockies in the bottom of the 4th out there in Denver. Padres will be taking on the Diamondbacks this weekend in Mexico City. NFL draft tonight. Fernando Mendoza widely expected to be the number 1 overall pick. Per sources, the Cardinals are getting calls on that number 3 pick. They have interest in Ty Simpson, but we'll see if a team jumps up there to take him, to take someone. And per Shams Charania, Jalen Williams, star forward for the Oklahoma City Thunder, suffered a grade 1 hamstring strain. He will be considered week to week for them. Choosing the right home service company isn't just about fixing what's broken. It's about trusting who's in your home. That's why homeowners count on Anderson for friendly, professional service that keeps everything running right. Visit AndersonPHA.com.
Today's a really good day for the Twitter accounts, the Instagram accounts who follow college football all year long, like the Group of Five stuff, the Power Five stuff. It's just a really good day for them. So a stat I just saw that popped up was the current Mountain West teams. So teams as of last year who are in the Mountain West, most of these teams won't be in the Mountain West next year. And I'll tell you something interesting about that, who have the most number of draft picks in modern NFL draft era. San Diego State is first by a long shot. 149 draft picks in the modern NFL era have come out of there. Then it's Fresno State, Colorado State, Utah State, Boise State at 74, Hawaii at 72. So that's the top 6. The top 5 in terms of modern NFL draft picks who are teams in the Mountain West of last year are the group who are heading to the Pac-12. So just kind of fascinating how the split has come. But San Diego State first by a long shot, 149. Fresno State second at 86.
San Diego State's produced some pretty good NFL talent. I mean, there was that run there with
Daniel Bellinger is a stud right now in the NFL. Cam Thomas, stud in the NFL right now.
I mean, you had Rashad Penny, then Danielle Pumphrey.
I mean, Marshall Faulk, one of the best running backs in NFL history, was San Diego State.
Of course, Chris Johnson tonight. Very excited. So, yeah, they're San Diego State's produced some pretty good talent over the years.
And hopefully it just keeps getting better. I thought San Diego State did an excellent job. If you haven't seen it, I retweeted it on my Twitter account at Fletch Sports. It was an interview with Chris Johnson where he talked about the importance of being at one place for his entire collegiate career and how that's led him to this, which is going to be drafted potentially tonight by an NFL team as a cornerback in maybe the first round of the NFL. Very, very cool. Congratulations to Chris. It was an honor covering him for these 4 years, man. He's been a ton of fun. The couple times I've gotten to talk to him, great kid. Can't wait to see what he does at the NFL level. All right. Interesting kind of side topic to tonight's NFL draft is a head coach who's been a part of the last 25 drafts, I think. And that's Mike Tomlin, who's not a part of this year's draft because he's not a NFL head coach going into next season. He has taken a job on the desk at NBC. He's going to be part of the pregame coverage this year for Sunday Night Football alongside Tony Dungy, which I think is a great get for NBC.
Yeah.
He's going to do an awesome job at it. I think those crazy eyes being on national TV before every Sunday Night Football game.
Anything will be better than Drew Brees on there.
I would tend to agree. Now, I don't know who they're going to kick. Is Chris Sims going to get a little less airtime? Because I'd be okay with that too. But Mike Tomlin going to be
taking a lot of shots at guys in our business. Chris Sims today, Mel Kiper. I mean,
but I think Mike Tomlin's going to do a great job. What I'm curious about is this contract length for Mike Tomlin at NBC, because I kind of feel like he's right back at the NFL coming up next year.
100%.
So if we're doing the way too early look at the top NFL head coaching candidates for next year, I got 2 names on my list. It's Mike McDaniel, who's currently the offensive coordinator with the Chargers, and it's Mike Tomlin. And I don't know what order I have those 2 in. I would think Mike Tomlin first, but it's going to be dependent a lot on who gets fired this year. And are you looking for an offensive head coach or a defensive head coach? You got 2 great options next year.
Well, it's funny how we were talking about we were on air for all those days when it was crazy, all the head coaching openings. Mike McDaniel was getting interviewed for a lot of head coaching positions, and Mike McDaniel made the choice of, do I want to go be the head coach of the Browns? Do I want to go be the OC of the Chargers, Herbert, that whole offense? Great offensive line, tackles returning. You got a Marion Hampton, good receivers there, and boost my stock to where basically I'll be the number 1 candidate. And then if I want a job, if a job comes open that I feel like I can really succeed at, I'm going to go take it. Mike Tomlin, same way. Mike Tomlin could have got a job of any other team besides Pittsburgh Steelers this year. And yet he's going to NBC, genius, going to make a bunch of money, going to be right back. He's obviously going to be in the kind of thoughts of everyone in the NFL. He's going to be on Sunday Night Football every week. So, I mean, Mike Tomlin and Mike McDaniel, I'd agree with you. Are they going to be the 2 hot head coaches next year? And it kind of plays back into that. Now, I know a lot of coaches maybe don't have the credibility to where you can't pass up on an opportunity if it's given to you. But guys like Mike McDaniel, guys like Mike Tomlin, who will be coaches in this league, have built up a lot of credibility over the years they've been there. It does feel smart to take a little bit of an ego check, not just rush into a head coaching job, go to a desk, go be the offensive coordinator, and wait for a job that you can feel like you can be successful at versus just taking a job that you feel like you'll be fired in a year or so.
Well, think about what Sean Payton did. And I think that is maybe the archetype that Mike Tomlin's going after. Sean Payton stepped away from the New Orleans Saints. I think he squeezed every ounce of juice out of that lemon that he could with the New Orleans Saints, man. And he was competitive for 15 years with the New Orleans Saints, got a Super Bowl with Drew Brees. And then he steps away, goes, does the Fox thing for a year and a half, 2 years almost. And then Sean Payton goes to the Denver Broncos 2 years later. He's a broken ankle away from the Super Bowl. If Bo Nix's ankle isn't broken, they probably win the AFC Championship game this year. So that's what Mike Tomlin's looking at. Sean Payton was patient. He waited for the right fit. He saw the Denver Broncos go into new ownership. He said, hey, I'm interested in this. Russell Wilson thing didn't work out, moved on immediately, and got Bo Nix and got his quarterback, the guy he liked a lot. And they've built that thing up from the ground up. He's designing the offense around Bo Nix, and Bo Nix looked really good this year and proved a lot of people, me, wrong this year. I thought Bo Nix was tremendous, probably could have been in the Super Bowl this year. So Sean Payton did it right. Who is that for Mike Tomlin? Because someone is going to get very, very lucky, man. Mike Tomlin is one of the best head coaches of my lifetime. Whoever is able to get him, and he doesn't have the same issues he was having in Pittsburgh, is going to get a head coach who's going to come in and immediately win. If he had a quarterback his final few years in Pittsburgh, it would have been the same thing that he had with Roethlisberger all those years, which is a team you have to put in conversation for the AFC Championship every year.
Well, and it shows you how it's a quarterback's league. If you don't have what?
Bengals?
It's interesting.
Give Joe Burrow to Mike Tomlin?
Get to stick it to his old team.
I would love that. As an NFL fan, I would love that.
I think my concern, though, would be, when does Joe Burrow have enough?
That's a good point.
Because like, when does Joe Burrow go, you know what? I'm one of the most talented quarterbacks in the NFL.
What if that's what keeps him happy?
That'd be interesting.
Joe, obviously Mike Tomlin is an upgrade over Zach Taylor. I thought Zach Taylor probably should have gotten fired this past offseason. And you tell me bring Mike Tomlin in, that keeps Joe Burrow happy. And Mike Tomlin wouldn't let Cincinnati just do the thing where they ignore defense and pay offense.
It was kind of because it's if you don't have a quarterback, you can't win. You can win a lot of games. You can win a lot of regular season games, but you're not winning a Super Bowl without a big time quarterback. If you have a quarterback deficit going into multiple postseason games, the chances of you doing it, there's been a few outliers, and we've seen some guys do it over the years, but the roster has to be so good that it's able to overcome those deficiencies. Mike Tomlin and Mike McDaniel, like, they're just sitting there going, I want to coach a good quarterback. So to your point, if the Bengals become available and at some point, I'm surprised Zach Taylor wasn't fired this year. I think the only reason that Zach Taylor might keep his job or kept his job this year is because Harbaugh and Tomlin were out of the division. So maybe they saw, hey, this is an opportunity for us to take over the division. But it does feel like if that job becomes open, even though the Bengals have not been a good organization and refuse to spend money, getting to coach Joe Burrow would certainly be a big plus, and you don't have to go find, draft, and develop a quarterback.
Well, think about the Chargers. I think it's a pretty good example because the Chargers were kind of a joke every offseason also. They brought in Harbaugh. It became much more serious, and Harbaugh sort of set the tone for what they needed. And obviously in the NFL, every team is going to spend money. You have to spend money in the NFL or else you're breaking rules. So if Tomlin goes to the Cincinnati Bengals and just says, hey, get your head out of your asses and let's build this thing my way, all of a sudden you have one of the top 3-4 quarterbacks in the NFL plus a top 2 head coach in the NFL. Things can change very, very quickly in Cincinnati. I would love that pick. I'll be honest, we weren't going to talk Mike Tomlin today. I'm a little sussed out by the lack of NFL news surrounding the draft that we've gotten so far today. It's a little eerie. Is this the calm before the storm?
They're all getting ready. They all got their draft boards. We're 3 hours out.
Like, seriously, the top headlines have not changed during our show on the NFL.
Yeah, no one's leaking anything.
It's Mike Vrabel to seek counseling. It's bettors who are split on Bailey or Reese as the number 2 overall pick. And it's Cowboys won't talk long-term with Pickens. That has not changed over the last couple of hours.
Veach said it last week. He expects a lot of trades from a lot of people, a lot of teams in the NFL.
Something's happening here. Something's boiling underneath the surface.
I think this is going to be a heavy trade night. I think because
there's so many teams that have multiple first round picks. Not all of them are going to stay with just 2 picks.
Right. And some of these teams don't have enough roster spots to draft all these players. Like, they're going to spot fill. I think it's fun tonight that after the first pick, we don't know who the number 2 pick is. It's Bailey or Reese. I think it's going to be Bailey, but we'll see. I mean, down the list, the first round, it does feel so wide open tonight, and a lot more wide open than we've seen in previous years. I also am curious if the Rams don't take Ty Simpson, because that's been linked. Todd McShay, do the Rams take Ty Simpson, quarterback out of Alabama, and just sit him for a year? You mentioned Joe Burrow. And I'm not talking about this year.
There's no way Burrow moves tonight.
No. I'm not talking about tonight. I'm talking about there's been rumors of Burrow getting a little antsy. Lamar as well. of both of their teams potentially down the road. I could be completely reading into this, but if the Rams continue to not take a quarterback year after year after year, and knowing
do the Rams make a play for Joe Burrow
in a couple years, instead of going to draft a young quarterback, they're just going, you know what? When the time comes and Stafford's done, we're going to send everything for Lamar. We're going to send everything for Burrow, because they know that they're not going to be in a spot to where they're going to be able to take a top quarterback in the draft, because the Rams are a Super Bowl favorite.
Makes a lot of sense. All right, we got to scram here. We'll be back. We will reset long shots. It was an NFL draft long shot, so if you want to make some money on the draft tonight, listen, coming up next, it is San Diego Sports 760. You're listening live on the iHeartRadio app. If you are a fan of cash, yes, that 4-letter word, CASH, talking about green, you got to get out to the Valley View Casino and Hotel tomorrow. Cash, and more cash, which is where someone may be walking out with $100,000 in cash. And then on Saturday, Valley View Casino and Hotel is rewarding all table game players with the Cash is King event. You can earn entries all month long. You can earn entries today by playing table games using your Players Club card. Win with all your favorite table games in both high and low limit rooms. Earning entries is easy and fun. I've been doing this. They just start handing out these little Cash is King vouchers. And then on Saturday, April 25th, this Saturday, join them at the main stage bar for this month's Cash is King giveaway. $10,000 in cash is going to be given away to 45 guests all night long, with drawings to win $200 every hour, starting at 7 until 10 o'clock this Saturday night. Plus, at 10:30 p.m., there's going to be a grand prize drawing of $400 each for 5 lucky guests. Don't miss Cash is King coming up on April 25th from 7 o'clock to 10:30, only at the Valley View Casino and Hotel. To earn rewards while you play, be sure to use your Players Club card if you're not a rewards member yet. Signing up is always quick, easy, and free. And you're going to get $200 in free offers to use instantly at San Diego's favorite casino. Don't miss out. Visit Valley View Casino Hotel this Saturday for the Cash is King event and join the Ultimate Players Club to get over $200 in free offers today. To learn more, visit valleyviewcasino.com. All guests 21 and over are invited to enjoy the casino, hotel, and restaurants.
San Diego Sports 760 for our final time today. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock. Sammy's going to take over then for an hour. I'm guessing lots more NFL draft coverage with Sammy. And then Schaefer and Sleewall will be your drive home today from 3 to 6, our brand new afternoon drive show. Check them out if you haven't already. Hey, a couple of homework assignments here before we let you go. One, subscribe to the YouTube page at San Diego Sports 760. Would love to see those numbers take a little bump here. 2, hit that little plus button on the free iHeartRadio app. Very, very easy to do. Open it. It's free. Search San Diego Sports 760. While you're listening, there's a little plus icon. You hit that. You add us to your presets just like an old school car radio. Very, very important that you do that to help out me and Sammy when it comes to our next meeting with the bosses, the very scary bosses.
With Mary A.
By the way, if you have anything that you need help with that we can do to help you with your bosses, send us a DM. We'd be happy to do it because it's that easy and you mean a lot to us. So thank you for being here, everybody. We really do appreciate it. All right, Sammy, before we get going, tonight's the NFL draft, big day. You've been saying it all week. Tonight's an easy night to make money. So why don't you tell us how we are making money on tonight's NFL draft?
I have so many bets in. I forgot what I even did earlier.
I got them pulled up right now if you want me to just do it.
Okay, that'd be great. I know Ruben Bain, top 10 pick. I believe he is going off at minus 137. I do believe my Chiefs will be taking him at 9 if he even gets there. I think the report of him falling in the draft is being a little bit over exaggerated. I have David Bailey going off at plus 122 as the number 2 overall pick to the New York Jets. There's been a lot of smoke screens here. Apparently they canceled his visit and they're talking about how much they love Arvell Reese. I think Bailey might be the best pure pass rusher in this class. I think Bailey is going at number 2. And then what was my other pick?
Jeremiah Love at number 4.
Jeremiah Love, spot pick number 4. You can find all this on Kalshi, by the way. I do think the Titans, this whole late push about the Cardinals, maybe taking him at 3, that feels too aggressive for a team like the Cardinals that's looking for a whole rebuild after Kyler Murray is not there anymore. I think him going to Cam Ward, going with Tennessee, I think Saleh takes him, considering Saleh's going to figure out the defense, pair Ward and Love in the backfield, and see how that happens.
Oh, and how about this? Some breaking news as we wrap up the show here today. Shams Charania reporting that the Bucs are finalizing a deal to hire Taylor Jenkins as their next head coach. Doc Rivers leaving. The Bucs Doc may be going into their front office. I don't know if that's become official yet, but the Milwaukee Bucks are finalizing a deal to hire on Taylor Jenkins as the franchise's next head coach. He was a Bucs assistant under Budenholzer back in 2018, 2019. And then he was with the Memphis Grizzlies for the last little bit. Taylor Jenkins making his way to the Bucs.
And per Shams Charania, Giannis has had zero communication with the upper brass.
So this is bringing in Taylor Jenkins to rebuild, like he rebuilt the Memphis Grizzlies. So
Giannis
this is
gone.
a post-Giannis era Bucks signing head coach.
I bet Giannis is traded within a week after the NBA Finals is wrapped up.
You like the move for Jenkins?
Yeah, he's a good coach. He's a good coach. He kind of got the short end of the stick in Memphis because they traded Bane. A lot of big egos there with Brooks and Morant. Morant getting suspended a lot of the time, but he built a nice little nucleus there with Jaren Jackson Jr., Dylan Brooks, Desmond Bane, and John Morant, but was just never really able to put it together in the postseason.
This is crazy. If there was to be breaking news on today's show, I would have figured we would have heard something about the NFL draft tonight. We have heard nothing. It has been silent on the NFL waters as we sit just hours away from the NFL draft. We'll see how many moves get made tonight. I happen to think there's going to be a lot of moves made tonight. But anything that's happening is happening behind closed doors as we speak.
Passport Comics on YouTube is asking Fletch, who do you think your Niners are going?
There's been a ton of different ways that the mock drafts have come out to say it. I hope they are going offensive line. I do not think they are. If you listen to Daniel Jeremiah, which I happen to think that Daniel Jeremiah is the best draft analyst out there, he has them going wide receiver. The kid out of Washington, Denzel Boston, and he is a stud. I just don't like what that means for the current 49ers. Now, if you're bringing in Denzel Boston to potentially be the next guy after Mike Evans moves on, if you're bringing him in to be a potential replacement for Ricky Pearsall, if you don't think he's the guy, I don't love that. But
Brandon Ayuk obviously on the way out.
Well, yeah, Brandon Ayuk got fat. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah,
he's on that
Eddie
Eddie
Lacy diet.
I don't know who's going to end up with Brandon Ayuk, but it seems like he's a broken human being, and I feel bad for him, honestly. It seems
feels
bad.
a little harsh.
No, he messed up with the 49ers, man. He had everything out in front of him. He didn't do a single lick of rehab on his own, like he said he was doing. And now he's going to end up with some NFL team, and it's going to be a problem. His playing days may be done. I hope the Niners go O-line, Passport Comics, if that's what you're asking. If you're a Niners fan as well, I hope they go O-line. I don't know if they're going to. And if they don't go O-line, I honestly hope they trade out of the first round. and go add some pieces later in the draft. All right, that's it for us. Sammy's going to stick around. If you want another hour of that glorious hair, he'll be here for you.
Chino Iglesias is joining me for some special draft coverage here in a little bit.
Well, let me guess. Chino's going to be like, I got some breaking news. My Raiders are going to take Fernando Mendoza with the first overall pick.
Chino, I got to see the vibe, bro. Chino's probably going crazy today. Franchise quarterback out there in Vegas.
Keep it tuned in here on San Diego Sports 760. We out.
This report is sponsored by Unbound.org. Right now in Colorado, the Padres and Rockies are going at it. Game 3 of their series in the top of the 6th. It is 6-4 Colorado. Padres got a little something going on here in the top of the 6th. I'll keep you posted. And it's finally draft day. The NFL draft begins at 5 o'clock. The Raiders will be on the clock, but I don't think they'll make their first pick till about quarter after. In NBA news, the Thunder's Jalen Williams is listed as week to week with a hamstring strain. Williams sustained a grade 1 left hamstring strain last night, and he will miss at least games 3 and 4 of their series. And speaking of NBA, we got Knicks Hawks coming up at 4 o'clock. We got Cleveland at Toronto at 5, and we got Denver and Minnesota at 6:30.
Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice: continue the dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
Going long with Sammy. That's going to be hot. In depth on the story of the day. Plus, it's warm in the hot seat. Long.
It is draft day. Brent, we are, what are we? 2 hours and 58 minutes. I heard you in your update. You said that the Raiders would probably make the pick, what, in 30 minutes into it? They all got to stand up there. You know, all the prospects who are actually there. Fernando Mendoza will not be attending. Weird story about out of the NFL. Did you see this about how the NFL asked Peyton Manning to convince Fernando Mendoza to go to the NFL draft? Like, by the way, Chino Iglesias right now. We're going to say it's a special draft day.
Bury the lead.
I did not mean to drop my voice and said that. The very special guest. He was out. He was at Disneyland on Monday with the Woody Show, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I got to go out there, have some fun, and that kind of ruined our Monday usual. And it's draft day, and this is how excited I am. I was told, hey, you're not in here until about 2:30. I'm knocking at the door at like 1:55. I'm like, what's going on, guys? Are we talking yet?
Exactly. This is a special day. We need an hour-long thing. So I'm curious. Obviously, you're a massive Raider fan.
Yes, sir.
So this is a big day for you.
I'm a football fan first.
Okay.
I love the game. I love what it means so much to so many people. You can say that baseball is America's pastime, but America's favorite game is 100%.
Right. People can, exactly. I mean,
so
the ratings, the NFL draft tonight will average about 20 to 25 million people. And it's the NFL draft, and half the people don't even know who any of these prospects are. This just shows you how big the NFL and football is as a whole.
I've been to, there was a time where I worked for the Raiders when they were in Oakland, and I would be there for the draft parties that happened at the Fox Theater in Oakland. And then before we moved to Vegas, I was there for a draft party in Vegas, just an abysmal draft that we had that year. I want to say that was Cleveland Farrell, you know.
Oh, they took him at number 4.
What?
Was Jonathan Abram in that draft?
I was standing at the, whatever this was, Dre's Pool nightclub, day club thing.
In Vegas?
Yeah, in Vegas. And they announced Cleveland Farrell, and I'm like, why did I come out here? Why did I come out here? And that's kind of the approach that I want to take.
Did they pay for your room?
Yeah, they always, man.
Well, then
listen,
good. At least you got
the
a
organization.
free day.
The organization is top notch, man. They always take care of their people. When they say once a Raider, always a Raider, I've always felt welcomed. Yeah. You know, but I think my approach today on all of this is that this is the first year where I remember going, I'm good. Like, none of this affects me because I already know Fernando's the guy. Fernando's not Superman. He is not the greatest quarterback to ever play college football, but he's going to be a difference maker. So I feel at ease knowing that Thursday, today, day one, night one of the draft, doesn't mean anything to me as a Raiders fan other than knowing that we're going to get that dude. He's going to celebrate with his family at home. Awesome stuff.
So I was going to ask about you. I opened the show with this. So the NFL, a weird story that snuck in today. The NFL asked Peyton Manning, which I don't know why they would just ask Peyton Manning, but randomly, they asked Peyton Manning to convince Mendoza to be there at the draft. Because Mendoza's, with his mom, I believe his mom has MS in Miami. So it's cool. He's at home, celebrating with the fam. Some people have made, even around the building, I've been surprised how many people have made such a big deal about prospects not being at the draft. And it's odd to me. I'm like, have what we've seen over the last 30 years. Yes, I get when they all used to sit in the green room. Why I love the NFL draft personally, and I think a lot of people would agree with me on this, is it is the greatest real reality TV we get.
Yeah.
We've seen Aaron Rodgers fall. We saw Shedeur Sanders last year. You're seeing guys' dreams come true. Taken earlier, taken later. I mean, it is real reality TV. So why an agent would let their player go sit there in the green room with a camera in their face with an interview mic if they were to fall? Now, I know Mendoza's not falling tonight. He's going number 1.
Yeah.
But so many people have made this such a big deal that some of the top prospects aren't there. And I think it's such an overblown narrative.
Well, what's in it for them? Unless you've dreamt of that moment since you were a kid to go be on that stage with Paul Tagliabue or, whoever's going to be the announcer at that moment. Of course, the first round, we get Goodell. Yay. Right?
Ready for the boost tonight.
He's the biggest heel in the NFL, right? Like,
and he eggs him on at the first thing.
He knows what he's doing, right? But in Mendoza's defense, I feel like, and this is by the way I live, family first, man. He wants to be there with his mom. He wants to make it simple. He knows he's going first. What's the benefit of him being there? The benefit is for the NFL because they want their poster child first pick on the stage. But remember, Jamarcus Russell was standing on that same stage and what happened to him? You know what I mean? So in defense of Fernando and his family, let him celebrate how he wants to celebrate. Put a camera in his house if he's cool with it.
It does. When we talk about Mendoza, so much has been made, and you mentioned this. Like this guy won at the highest level in college football.
Yeah.
He took a program in Indiana that was always been a basketball school. I mean, they were the literal losingest program in college football history, power program heading into this season with him. And he takes them, wins a championship in Miami when Miami's playing in their home stadium and has a pretty tough road through the playoffs. And I do feel like there's still a lot of people are excited about Mendoza, but there's this, comp to Matt Ryan I keep hearing. And, is that going to work at the next level? It's like all this guy did was win at the highest level. And do you value that or do you value intangibles? And I'd rather go with the guy who actually won at the highest level in college football.
I'm with you on that. You said that he took the team. My thought is he was part of a team because it took more than just him to win. It took those receivers to
Cooper
catch.
and Surratt, who might be first round picks tonight.
To catch those back shoulder, beautiful, in the basket throws. Yeah, he's great, but so is everybody else. I think it was like perfect timing. Everything worked out for that team. I think it's amazing. We don't know what we don't know. As we move into the season, Fernando, will he start? No idea. Hopefully, we'll get whoever's better out of the two. Is it going to be Fernando? Is it going to be Kirko? You know what I mean? Are we going to get Cole's Cash Kirk? Or are we going to get Kirko Bangs, jewelry dripping? You know what I mean?
Yes.
The Minnesota Viking, Kirk. But regardless, I feel like everything, and I might have said this last time I was here, everything is intentional with the Raiders organization as far as coaching everything up, making sure that Greasy is communicating. It's not the team and giving him the playbook early and all this other stuff. I feel like everything is working the way it's supposed to be for improvement. Are we going to be at the top of the hill at the end of the season? I don't think so. I think we're going to be probably the most improved team in the NFL.
Right, and they improved. Like even there's a report out that the Raiders of the number 36 pick as well as number 1 aren't looking to trade back in the first round. Now we'll see if that actually happens tonight. There's a prospect falling. I'm sure it might get back into it. But
listen,
it's a positive thing for the Raiders in my book that you go out and you sign Leonard Bob at center. We've talked about this before. It's not the attention grabbing headlines that signing a star receiver, running back does, but it's a signing for Mendoza. You signed a Kobe Dean and Quay Walker at the linebacker spot to kind of back up Crosby in this pass rush and finally get some tacklers on that team
and Kwity Paye.
And then you're talking about the Raiders are going to own the night. They're getting Mendoza. It's flashy. A lot of teams like flash, jumping back up, getting the top prospect, and the Raiders are sitting there just letting the board fall to them. I think it's a lot of maturity within the organization that wasn't there 10 years ago.
1,000%. As long as Mark stays out of the way,
yeah,
let Spytek cook and Tom Brady guide. I'm okay with where we are. You said the Raiders are going to own the night. I think they'll own a moment. I think the night is going to belong to whoever's going to set off the fireworks first. And I feel like that can be the Chiefs. The Chiefs have a couple of picks. I know you and I talked about, oh, yeah, we're going to wait for Ruben Bain. I don't know, man. I feel like you guys might just move up. Reed is so methodical. He is so methodical with the way he does things. he sees things like it's the Matrix, right? The way he makes plays, like he designs these plays. And isn't what's his name back? Is Bieniemy back?
Bieniemy's back,
Man,
which is a
listen.
massive get.
Come
Can
on,
I
man.
tell you how bad Matt Nagy was? Brent can attest to this. Chicago Bears fan. Matt Nagy, and listen, he won a Super Bowl. Matt Nagy was not a catalyst for why he won a Super Bowl with the Chiefs. Eric Bieniemy should have got a head coaching job, has not all these years for a wide variety of reasons. And Eric Bieniemy had the offense rolling when he was there. I'm with you on the Chiefs tonight are actually a very interesting point because they're at 9 and they could go a lot of different directions: pass rusher, corner, receiver, tackle. There's a lot of guys that like positions that the Chiefs could need. And I think the fact that maybe we'll get into this on the other side, the fact that there are 6 teams with multiple first-round picks. You got the Jets, Giants, Browns, Chiefs, Dolphins, and Cowboys. Text 70470. Start your message with team. Text 70470. Start your message with team. Which team is going to really change the draft tonight of those 6? That's coming up next on Going Long. Chino Iglesias with me, channel 933 on San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app. Johnny Blue Skies tickets coming up in just about 10 minutes. Viejas Arena, September 13th. We're going to be giving those away here in just about 10 minutes. So hang on. Chino Iglesias, channel 933, joining me right now. We're talking about Mendoza and the Raiders, in the last segment, but I was kind of like looking at the draft as a whole in the first round, because it feels like we've seen over the years, Fletch and I were getting into this earlier, Jeremiah Love, top running back, Sonny Styles, the linebacker spot, traditional linebacker from Ohio State, and then Caleb Downs, the safety, are three of just the best football players in the draft. They might go top 10, but they're falling a little bit, Downs and Styles, because people are devaluing the linebacker spot. People are devaluing safety. And it just kind of got me thinking, like, are we devaluing these positions too much versus just taking the best overall football player?
I feel like every time we get around to the NFL draft, it's like that scene in Moneyball where all the dinosaurs are sitting at the table, and Brad Pitt's like,
100%.
Who cares about the ugly girlfriend?
Right.
You know what I mean?
In that scene when he's like, do I care if it's a walk or a hit? He's getting on base.
He's getting on base. So I feel like we're overdoing it. I'm not a fan of hours and hours of speculation, right? It's like all these dudes on TV screaming at each other because they think they know. Orlovsky, go take a walk, dog. You know what I mean? Like, give me the facts and show the highlights. Or if you're a real fan of college football, you watched Love run all over my Trojans.
Unreal.
So,
yes, our Trojans got destroyed with that. I mean, literally destroyed the U.S.
You said he's the best running back, and then later on said the three best football players. I think that's what it comes down to, is what are your needs? Right. And what are you looking for in a football player? I feel like Love is going to be McCaffrey-esque.
Yeah. And I mean, this guy was running drills at the combine as a receiver. And they were like, if he was just coming out as a receiver, might be a first round pick. Like this is how insane he is. And to your point about the best available football players, it's funny how we go back 10 years ago, Le'Veon Bell and Melvin Gordon were trying to get deals and no one wanted to pay a running back. Remember, you didn't pay a running back no matter how good they were. Then all of a sudden, Saquon wins the Super Bowl with the Eagles. Derrick Henry goes to the Ravens. We're seeing McCaffrey have success with the Niners. And now we're starting to realize, like, we went too far the other way, where I get giving big time money to a running back. Kenneth Walker was just Super Bowl MVP. It's like giving big time money to a running back can be detrimental, but then we went too far the other way, where it's like, I mean, we're completely devaluing some of these positions.
Dude, listen, you can overanalyze as much as you want. If these guys are good, look at how many people said Derrick Henry is old and he's not going to look at it. He just ran all over last season, did his thing, back-to-back seasons for the Ravens. And the way he trains, he's going to come back even stronger. Walker is going to be a menace on the field for the AFC West. That's crazy to say out loud.
Exactly. And then
crazy to think that happened, that he moved to the arch enemy. You feel me?
I'm very excited. No, and by the way, Mahomes has never had, outside of Kareem Hunt, his first year, a big time running back his entire career. We're even seeing this around, like the Miami Dolphins have a couple picks tonight, 11 and 30. They trade everyone. Tyreek Hill cut, Jalen Waddle. Who is the one guy they will not trade? Devon Achane. We're seeing this change the narratives around positions. And I think we really, I don't know if it's the combine and we fall in love with just measurables. And so pass rushers end up going higher. Like if Sonny Styles is the best linebacker in the class, guess what? Teams in the Super Bowl have great linebackers.
Yep.
And I feel like we overthink this a lot in the NFL and just fall in love with taking certain positions, whether it's quarterback, receiver, or pass rusher.
Who's going to win this weekend? Okay, when it comes to the draft, the teams that are going to win are the ones that really address their needs and are smart about the process. The Chiefs, the Patriots always find a way. They always have found a way throughout the last few decades. Once they figured it out, that team has always found a way. There's going to be teams that are going to get it wrong. Usually the Cowboys, usually the Dolphins, usually the Cardinals. And there's teams out there that are a player away from finding that piece of the puzzle that is going to change how much further they go. Like, watch Mekhi Lemon to the Rams. Mekhi Lemon to the Rams is going to be dangerous when you already have Puka, hopefully, and
Get out of
you
rehab
have
in time.
Devontae, and you've got that offense. And I think that the Rams.
So you think the Rams are going Lemon tonight because there's been a lot of rumors about Simpson? Will they take the quarterback?
Anything can happen, right? I don't think that they need to rush and grab a quarterback this season. If they who's their backup? Who's
Jimmy G? But he's retiring. He might be retiring.
We're so glad that era's over.
Porn star Jimmy. It is funny when you get to the point about, right, there's a reason why the Jets and Cardinals pick at the top every year.
Man.
Like, you look at the NBA, you look at Major League Baseball. It's because you think, like, after this many years of top picks, why are they still up here? Because all three of us sitting in this room can draft the top 10. We can. It's all slotted. We can take over a team tonight and draft in the top 10. Where teams make their hay is on Saturday.
Yep.
When day 3 happens and you're looking at overlooked prospects that it feels like the Jets and the Cardinals and teams like that seem to whiff on constantly.
Those 3rd and 4th round picks are the ones that are going to be the glue that keep your team together, because there's some scouts out there that might not see what others see. You know, look at the story of the Pittsburgh Steelers, where Rooney was the first owner to say, hey, let's go look at the South. Let's look at these HBCUs and all.
Right. They weren't paying attention to him.
They were not. Nobody was paying attention. And they went down there and they started grabbing gold. I mean, Hall of Famers when we look at how their career ended up. So there's the dinosaurs at the table at Moneyball that are just like, yeah, he's not going to do this. He's not going to do that. And there's actual students of the game. And I feel like there's those teams that won't get out of their own way. The Cardinals won't get out of their own way. I
totally agree with you. You mentioned the Cowboys earlier, a team that historically has done this. It's easy to come on here as a sports talk show host. It's easy. The easiest thing to come on here and do is bash Jerry Jones. I do have to give Jerry Jones some credit, though.
Yeah, you have to.
Because what he did with Micah Parsons, he knew the day he traded Micah Parsons, you are going to get eviscerated in the media. You're going to go, how could you trade a star passer?
And he doesn't care.
He doesn't care. He's setting up this defense for the future, made a couple nice moves over the offseason, Quinnen Williams during the season, Kenny Clark, Rashawn Gary. And now there's all this talk like George Pickens today. So they're not negotiating a long-term contract. Per CBS Sports, he could get moved tonight. They're listening to offers on him.
I think there's going to be not just one, maybe a couple of major shakeups, and I feel like Pickens might be that move.
Because
please deal him to the Raiders. I will take him and his problems right now.
Can you imagine Pickens and Mendoza together?
Pickens and Bowers.
Yes. It'd be unbelievable. And it's an interesting kind of point for the Cowboys because Pickens was a good ad from the Steelers.
Yep.
They had a great offense last year. Dak was back in the MVP conversation along with CeeDee. But the Cincinnati Bengals are a prime example of why you don't pay 2 superstar receivers. They pay T. Higgins, they pay Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow, and they'll drop 50 points every week, but they don't win games because their defense is putrid. So it's an interesting turning point tonight. I actually think the Cowboys, you're talking about teams with growth. I think the Raiders would fall under that, like how they've handled this offseason.
Baby steps.
Yeah. The Cowboys could mess this thing up tonight and just trade up to the number 3 pick. But as of what we're hearing, I think Jerry Jones and the Cowboys are showing a lot of restraint, which is not something that typically comes out of Jerry's world in Dallas.
I think the ones that are going to make the difference, it's either you go or you get off the pot, right?
Right.
Jesse Minter
going to
in Baltimore. What are they going to address over there? What is the necessity? What is the need? So that's where we're going to go. Oh, he did the right thing. They did the right thing, or that's not going to work out. I feel like they need to address that second tight end because they lost 2 tight ends. You still got a Hall of Famer at tight end, but you still, if you want to run that 12 personnel, you need another guy out there. I think that's what they need. I think what are the Chargers needs? What do they need to address? They got superstars on that roster.
I think that you're talking about an interior offensive lineman. I could see a receiver. I know people are like, what? Ladd McConkey is a good receiver. He's not a number one. Keenan Allen's getting up there in age, and Quentin Johnson, no matter how many of my friends who are Charger fans want to tell me, is still a bust. Is he better than what he was in his first year out of TCU? Yes, but I think Herbert needs a legit number one star receiver. If I'm the Chargers, I go up and get somebody.
What are they drafting at? What is their position?
I got to pull that up. They're in the 20s.
For them in the 20s, there's tons of solid receivers that are coming out. You might not get the superstars right, immediately, but there are some great receivers out there that they can pick from and develop. I think
22.
I agree with you. And what are people saying as far as what do the Chargers need? Yeah, they need help at defensive tackle. They need help at offensive line. But, somebody gets hurt. That's the end. It's like the 2016 Raiders. Derek Carr got hurt and it was over. So you need to address the needs and not go for the sexy pick. Don't be the Falcons.
That is right. Who's going for the headlining pick, the headline grabbing pick, or just the foundational, which is why this draft is so interesting because it's stocked with great defensive linemen, great offensive linemen, great linebackers, not just flashy positions. I think we're going to see what team takes advantage of that tonight. All right. Johnny Blue Skies at Viejas Arena on September 13th. Call right now, 877-767-4760. Again, 877-767-4760. If you want to go see Johnny Blue Skies, be caller number 5. Coming up next, Chino Iglesias hanging with me, channel 933. We're going to get into little baseball. Padres on right now, plus some major injury news out of the NBA. How does that affect them going forward? That's coming up next. Going long, San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
This report is sponsored by Summit Racing Equipment. Right now in Denver, the Padres and Rockies are in game 3 in the top of the 8th. It is not looking good. The Rockies are up 8-4 in the top of the 8th. It is finally NFL draft day. The draft will begin officially at 5:00. The first pick probably won't happen until about quarter after, when the Raiders will make their choice. In NBA news, Thunder forward Jalen Williams is listed as week to week with a grade 1 left hamstring strain, and he will miss at least game 3 and 4 of their series. And speaking of the rest of the series, tonight at 4:00, we got Knicks and Hawks. At 5, we got Cleveland at Toronto, and we got Nuggets Timberwolves at 6:30. It's car care month, and at Summit Racing has what you need for bumper to bumper care. Revive the interior, exterior, underhood, and more. Shop summitracing.com. Use promo code radio for $10 off an order of $100 or more. Exclusions apply. Offer ends at May 3rd, 2026.
Chino Iglesias and I are solving the world problems.
Yes, we are.
At the break. Channel 933, the best, man. Always stopping by. So
it's always fun to be here with you. I get to go into my slot over there and have fun and play music and whatever. But this has really always been a passion of mine, is not just being a fan of sports, but listening to a lot of the greats, throughout the years on this frequency. So it's an honor to be here.
You're the
man.
best. Seriously, Chino, well, everyone loves you on the text line. Everyone loves when you're
I don't
on.
know about everybody.
You're saying something. So no, but you, like me, massive Laker fan. So getting the NBA, we got some breaking news a little bit ago. So grade 1 hamstring strain for Jalen Williams. He's considered week to week per Shams Charania. Got hurt last night in that game against the Phoenix Suns. I don't want to overreact because the Thunder have had a lot of injuries throughout the year. Shea's been hurt at times. Jalen Williams has been hurt at times. Chet's been hurt at times. And they still best record in basketball and have been unbelievable. But if Jalen Williams is out for the foreseeable future, you're looking at, if we get ahead of ourselves, the Lakers would be in the second round. If everyone's healthy, it feels like Oklahoma City, even if it's not just the Lakers, if Williams is hurt for the foreseeable future, a lot more susceptible to maybe get beaten a round or two.
Okay. I feel like I'm never going to change my stance on sports. I'm a realist when it comes down to it. And yes, the Lakers have had that March run was unbelievable. Where we are now against the Rockets, we're up to zip. I'm excited about where we're going to head, maybe 5. I feel like we could pull it off in 5.
Yeah, game 3, I bet goes to Houston.
We'll see. I don't want to get too excited about it, but I feel like the Lakers are going to win this series, and you're going to move on. And we got the Thunder. If any team has little brothered us this and last season, totally, it is the Thunder.
Punked them, ran them off the floor.
Absolutely. Now with Reeves possibly coming back this series and Luka possibly next series, if we are at full steam ahead, I feel like this injury can work in our favor. It's not going to be easy, but just like in the Avengers Infinity Saga, when Iron Man looks over at Doctor Strange and said, out of how many possibilities did we win? And he put his finger up and he said, 1. And then later on acknowledged 1. So I hate to see people get hurt. I hate to see Wemby hit the floor like he hit the floor.
Right.
Right. And I hate to say,
of course.
Grade 1 hamstring. First question when I'm in a group chat with my friends is like, is it contagious? Can Shy get it? You know what I mean? I'm there. But this is that one possibility where I feel like if this becomes something that is detrimental to OKC being who they really are, and the Lakers going in there and shocking the world, and then Wemby, who knows how long he can be out, and we get Portland.
Right.
You feel me? Like that is where things work in our favor.
Texas 70470. Start your message with team. Do you see the Jalen Williams injury? If he's not there, preventing Oklahoma City from a title. Because to your point, Wemby concussion. Now he'll come back from that, but Wemby concussion.
That was tough.
That was a brutal concussion.
If that were Ayton, we would have been reading his obituary. You know,
1,000,000%, by the way. And so he's hurt. And then Williams, we've seen a lot of guys kind of dealing with injury. Luka, Reeves, I mean, left and right. KD misses game one against the Lakers. I think this NBA playoffs has been entertaining so far because the first weekend people go, the NBA naysayers go, they're all blowouts. This is the talent gap is so wide. Well, take out last night. The previous 5 games before yesterday's games were all the underdogs won. We got a tied series with the Hawks and the Knicks.
Yep.
We got tied series Timberwolves and Nuggets. The Lakers underdogs in both the first 2 games are up 2-0. And then you got Portland, right, with Wemby with the concussion. I mean, that's a very live series. Portland could easily go win the next 2 games if Wemby is out. And then all of a sudden Wemby and the Spurs have to win 3 straight to go take him out. I mean, that is a very real series. So to the Oklahoma City point, I just think a lot of these teams are a little bit more susceptible than we've given them credit for. The Spurs, I think you saw when Wemby went out, they're lacking that. They haven't been here before. They lack that front court depth.
Yeah, experience and leadership.
Detroit in game 1 got blitzed. Now they blitzed the Magic last night, so give them credit for that. You know, Boston, all of a sudden, Tyrese Maxey and Edgecombe are locking them up in game 2. And then you get to Oklahoma City, who has not looked beatable whatsoever. But this Jalen Williams injury, it's hard to say like they're done because they're not. They still would be the favorite. They have Caruso, Lou Dort, I mean, AJ Mitchell. They have so many guys.
They're loaded, man.
They're loaded. But at the end of the day, in the NBA Finals last year, he had a 40-point outburst. And Shea, him, and Chet are the closers at the end of the game. You take Jalen Williams out of that equation, this Western Conference might have gotten a lot more interesting than it was even a night ago.
When you said Chet, I kind of cringed. That guy right there, I don't get. I
agree with you. I don't think he's an elite level player. I think he's the product of I think he's a good player who plays on an elite team, and his numbers get boosted from that.
Yeah, dude. I watch him play and I go, I get it. But if you were to put him on the Wizards, he's just another guy.
Exactly.
So look, I might seem delusional in that thought that maybe the Lakers can pull it off, but I'm also, I've seen crazier things happen. I was a kid when Reggie scored, a huge turnaround, a swing in a game, within seconds. Yeah, that was amazing. I've seen it all. I saw the Derek Fisher with 0.3 seconds on the clock to hit a 3. I saw Robert Ory from the top of the key. We took out Sacramento when we weren't supposed to. So that is what makes me believe that anything can happen on any given night. And it doesn't hurt when somebody on the other team isn't as healthy. It makes you feel like it's possible.
It's the NBA playoffs really is a marathon. And so you see injuries really do play a factor into it. And on the Lakers point of things, and I know all the anti-Laker heads are going to be texting in right now going, they got blitzed, they got ran off the floor when Reeves and Luka were there. And you're 100% right. And they would be favored in that series if Jalen Williams isn't there. But I think what the storyline is, what adds intrigue, if he's not there, that's a big loss for Oklahoma City.
Absolutely.
And the Lakers role players, 2 months ago,
man,
if you would have sat here and told anyone the Lakers would be up 2-0 in a playoff series, Reeves and Luka would not play, you'd be like, you're crazy. You're delusional. There's no chance that would happen. And Kennard playing the way he is, Marcus Smart, Rui, DeAndre Ayton on the defensive end, I got to give a lot of credit.
Who is that?
I mean, he was not there the entire season against an elite big and Alperen Şengün. You wonder, assuming Luka and Reeves have to come back, how do they mesh? How do these role players, considering they're playing out of their mind, mesh back in with the big 3? Is this a new Laker team that we're seeing and we could see going forward in the next round?
It made me believe that Kennard has been misused his entire career. When you see the product, the output, the scoring, the being all over the court,
he's not just a shooter, he's a basketball player.
He's a basketball player for sure. And then watching Marcus Smart come out there and shut down KD the way he has, like he did a few years back. like, okay, if we can keep that energy for those guys and Rui leading in 3-point percentage, shots, and, Ayton surprising us with his defense, and we get Luka back, think about how inspired Luka is going to play. I'm hoping that he comes out and AR is going to be, I think, uncontrollably, or like he's going to be a
bat out of hell.
Yeah, Tasmanian devil.
All I'm going to say is don't let the Lakers win this first round series and win game 1 against Oklahoma City, because I'm going to be a menace on this radio show and Chino will be on. And it will be an hour of straight Laker talk.
Man, one can dream.
You're the best. Chino Iglesias, channel 933. We got a last minute draft prediction. Biggest surprise tonight. I won't put you on the spot, but biggest surprise in the first round you think, is we're a couple hours out from the NFL draft?
I'm excited about, like I said, the big ones, the ones that really make the moves. I'd be surprised if somebody doesn't try to move up to get love, like really move up and throw the farm, because that dude
franchise
is
running back,
Swiss Army knife. He's a McCaffrey-esque, if you would.
Right, and it speaks to the running back. I mean, you got to have a good running back. If you don't have
100%.
The Chiefs the last couple of years have been dreadful in the running game, and look what happened to them. I mean, you can take it too far, but you cannot have a running back. You cannot have your quarterback dropping back 40 times a game and getting crushed back there.
And watch the kid from San Diego State,
Chris Johnson,
shine as it'd be good to see you. It's great when you see the local guys get that love.
Totally.
But I feel like there's going to be a battle over trying to get him, because he really, really shined in the combine.
And on the Chris Johnson note, it's cool seeing a guy who stayed at San Diego State, got offers to go to
Could have gone somewhere else. Yeah.
Gone somewhere else, SEC, Big Ten, and stayed at San Diego State because it meant a lot to him being a local kid. And he's getting rewarded for it. Now he's looking to be a first-round draft pick tonight. It's really cool to see that.
Well, he was on John and Alan's show this week, and he said that, I'm proof that you don't have to go to Alabama or a big school like that, and you can still get drafted. You can, come to a non-Power 5 school or non-Power 4, and, you can, as long as you ball out, he said, you'll get picked.
And he has a possibility of doing that, of getting in there and being an immediate Christian Gonzalez impact
type
corner. Absolutely.
Well, it's going to be fun tonight. Chino, we're going to figure it out next week.
Yes, sir.
When you were on our guy, our weekly guest, usually on Mondays, but you're off on Monday. So we will figure it out for next week. Chino Iglesias, again, go give him a follow, channel 933. I got corrected by that. I was saying 93.3.
It's channel 933. 3 to 7 in the afternoon, channel 933.
933.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I was.
But that doesn't matter right now. This is what matters. You feel me?
I went to San Diego State. You know what I mean? Kidding. I did go to San Diego State. But all right, coming up next, Shaver and Sliwa. Chino, thanks for hopping on, man. We will, Shaver and Sliwa, we're going to close this thing out and then pass it off to them. It's coming up next on Going Long, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app. Fernando Tatis. Oh, yikes. Schaefer and Slee will be getting all into that here in about 10 minutes. What line do we have here? San Diego Sports 760 has, this is your liner. SDFC is back Saturday night when they take on Portland. Our coverage with Adrian Darren begins at 6 p.m. on your home for SDFC. San Diego Sports 760. What's up, boys?
What is going on, man?
We're falling apart.
We are me and you, or
Everybody.
everyone's falling
You
apart.
mentioned SDFC instantly.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
like, they're falling apart.
Yeah,
Dude,
not a great,
fellas. Fix this.
not a great 24 hours.
I
for
guaranteed a win last night. I didn't guarantee it, but I'm like, they're gonna win.
of SDFC or the Padres.
SCFC.
Oh, okay.
No, Padres. I was fine with yesterday. They were playing really well. I'm not as fine with today because you don't want to lose the series in Denver, obviously, to the Rockies.
Well, considering
They're
a couple players who have consistently not come through for the entire season.
But SCFC now are they winless? And it's like 6
4 in a row.
consecutive?
4 in a row. Oh, you're
Well,
talking
I
about
think winless in 6 straight matches.
Yeah.
Well,
Straight
and
losses.
with SCFC, you start to go like they had this unbelievable inaugural season where every milestone barrier they achieved. I mean, you know, and then you had the Milanolowski drama. You let him go. You still have success. Chucky Lozano. And then they come out the gates and they're scoring all these goals. You feel like now it's like, not is it catching up to them, but like where are the star scores? Because the attack has not been there the last couple of weeks that we certainly saw a couple months ago.
We were talking to Darren yesterday, and Darren Smith, of course, everybody in SD knows, part of the SDFC broadcast. We're talking to him, and he's like, look, the offense isn't the issue. The problem is they're giving up so many goals. That's the issue. And they're digging themselves holes. And yesterday, again, another red card. So however you want to look at it, I think it was, obviously so unique to see what they did last year, but it also gave a taste like for the city of San Diego. I really want to build off of that equity they got in their first year. And it does go away if you all of a sudden you're 11th in the Western Conference and you don't make the postseason. It's going to take a second to build it back again, but I don't know what the solution is. I don't know if you got someone over there. I just know that yesterday you were wildly disrespectful to my SDFC shirt.
No, I actually blame it was the wind. You know what? Now we know why it happened. It's not the offense. It's not the defense. It's not special teams. It was the raincoat.
Yeah.
On a 70-degree day.
That's a great point, John. It was a little aggressive from you, Sliwa, to be rocking that in here.
Yeah.
Like, I debated wearing a Chiefs jacket today.
Right.
But I was like, it's a little hot. That's going to break out in about an hour when I get home.
It's kind of funny. I hear that from both you guys. I still don't care. Like, it didn't do anything.
You weren't working up a sweat?
Me. It might have. That part, I'm not telling you that it did it.
Here's the thing. It's
some
not
moments
that
it got hot in here.
It didn't have any impact other than the game, other than it was the reason why they lost.
It was exactly. Alan Sliwa.
No impact.
I don't see you guys rocking anything SDFC. I mean, it'd be nice for you guis to support a little bit here.
I will. I wear a jersey sometimes.
I got a shirt of celebrities and their mugshots. Yeah. Just so I'm going with today. What's you guys excited for the draft tonight?
I know you are.
I'm very excited.
You look very excited.
That's all I can think about all day.
I'm a draft guy. Like, I would paint myself with that brush. I like drafts.
I love with the draft, whether you're a massive NFL fan, college football fan, support your college.
Too, yeah.
It's a great mesh of both, and it's real-time reality TV. Like it is real reality TV, and guys are going to fall.
Yeah.
Shedeur Sanders last year was a whole side story of him falling to the 5th round. I enjoy that tonight.
Dominated the headlines.
Yeah,
you're right. That dominated. For me with the draft, I think I'll be a professional today. I'll try to break it down as best as I can. But when I say that it has the NFL, my relationship with the NFL just isn't the same. If you told me a little bit later today, the Chargers, I have no idea what pick they have, nor do I care. But if they were here, then
all over it.
All of a sudden it's like it's a really big deal and a big event. I know it's a big deal and a big event across the country. I'm not questioning that at all. But for me, I will follow it for work. I will not follow it because of, obviously love for the NFL. I got a black heart in here. I got an open wound.
I bet there's a ton of people listening right now that feel the exact same way about the NFL draft. Because again, it's like you experience it one way. People would have obsessed over it. We wouldn't even talk Padres today. If the
Chargers were here and it was the NFL draft.
Yeah.
And
you said something earlier too. You're like, and imagine if they're still here. They would be, the draft would be in San Diego. Of course.
San Diego would be a great place for the NFL draft.
Brother, it's a great place for anything.
I was going to say, it's a great place to drink
anything.
What's got coming up on the show today?
Brian Dutcher at 3:30.
Yep.
Whoa, big time guest.
And San Diego State defensive coordinator Demetrius Sumler at 4 p.m. talking about Chris Johnson. He might go tonight in round 1 of the NFL draft.
Yeah, you know
I hope he does.
He's coming to Kansas City at 29. I'm telling you right now.
Kansas City at 29.
You think he's still available at 29?
I think he is.
Okay.
There's a lot of late draft talk this week that he's flying up draft boards, and for Chris Johnson's sake, that's great. I hope he falls a little bit to 29. Just going to be 100% honest, get a little value there.
By the way, nothing wrong with that. You know, so much of these guys, you want them to fall with the right team and the right franchise.
Kansas
I got
City,
no
Andy
issue with
Reid,
that with him and KC.
Yeah.
All right. Well, coming up next, stay tuned. Schaefer and Sliwa's Padre game. Almost wrapping up. I'm sure they're going to have massive reaction to that. Brian Dutcher, D coordinator for the Aztecs, coming up in a bit. I'll be back tomorrow with Rifkin, actually. Rifkin and I. Ben is, taking a day off randomly on a Friday for some reason, but that's another conversation for another day. I'll be back tomorrow. See you then.